if we don't start to work on how we're going to operate outside their economy, you're all stuck. You're all taxpayers. You're all operating within their jurisdiction, their economy. So would it be amazing if there was a networking group that may have a solution to that? The other problem is mobile phones, right? That's their system. They are tracking and tracing you at every single given stage. Screen grabbing, taking the data that you create. No privacy whatsoever. The algorithms know you better than you know yourself. This is why they create in the big data centers everywhere, isn't it? So they can really start to control that data. Now, data to the system is gold. My gold is no longer for sale. But how about you? Is your gold for sale? Are you going to let them have your data? Are you going to let them dictate what they can and cannot do with your legal title? You should all know now about legal titles, right? The legal title controls you. And that's the only thing the system really creates. Maximum of law, whoever creates controls. So if they create the title now controls you. Mr., Miss, surname, people, residence, dwelling, society, community. All these legal titles, we know about them now, right? Because you're all sovereign project members. But what about the jurisdiction? If you operate in their jurisdiction, they control the asset. So you need to pull yourself out of that. But what do you need? A platform. You need infrastructure. And that's exactly what we've been building. We are recording tonight, everyone. Okay, so you will be able to hear this at a later point if you're having problems right now. Okay, so people are still coming into the room. So what I'm going to do right now, I am going to introduce you to an amazing guy called Toby. I met Toby probably the best part of 2 years ago when Pete Stone told me that Pete said to me, I'm dealing with this tech company. They've got all these amazing things happening. I said, Pete, give me an introduction. Let's start to work close with these people, right? Because your network is your net worth. So if you haven't got a network, guys, you're going to be in a weaker position and you want to strengthen your position. Now, your network is right here at the Sovereign Project. We do events across the country. Why are you standing alone? It's so important now that your network is your net worth. Now, the problem is when you network, guess what might happen? You might actually start to like people. And I've got to say it. I'm going to introduce Toby, and he's a lovely guy. I've spent so much time with him, and now we've bonded. We've got friendship, which makes it even better that we're working together. That means we work harder for each other to deliver this amazing platform. So I'd like to introduce you to Toby from ENTIFY World. Toby, how are you doing, my friend?
Hey, Karl. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. Hello, everyone. Really great to be here. Hi, Janet. Yes, I mean, Karl, you and I are good friends now, and I actually look up to Karl an awful lot. Karl, to me, is a fantastic coach, and whether he likes it or not, he's my coach. So if any of you need coaching, he's the man. But yes, we've been working on quite an incredible project for many, many years now, and Karl has summarized it very well. We've got such an interesting problem in the world today. It's really a universal problem with the internet itself. We don't actually have ultimate security. There's all sorts of layers of security on the internet, but it really all boils down to centralized servers. Everything is centralized. Now, again, we talk about government and corporations. Yes, they're centralized, but actually technology, data is all centralized. Now, we've had the beginning of blockchain. Blockchain was something interesting. That was the start. That led us think, okay, maybe there is a way of doing things in a decentralized way, and that made massive progress. But blockchain still is not quite enough. There's still a problem because blockchain lives on the computer. It lives on the internet, and we don't. We're real living men and women. We live in the real world. Now, and the big problem is, how do we connect ourselves, a living being, to this digital network, the digital world? And so far, the only way they've done it is to, take a name, take an address, take some details, and put it on a database somewhere. And these databases are everywhere. If you think about it, we don't really have an actual identity. We've got multiple identities all over the place on all different databases. And as Karl was saying, they're searched, they're watched, there's algorithms watching us. And if they want, they can cancel them, they can be hacked. Again, with the best will, let's just say we had a wonderful, benevolent government and they wanted to do digital IDs for us and we trust them. They still couldn't do it. The internet itself is fallible. People can hack it. So it's just not good enough. And we've been searching for a long, long time for for a system that could solve this. And I came across an invention a few years ago when I was doing a lot of work in blockchain, because when Bitcoin started, I was absolutely fascinated by that. I realized, yes, there's something new here. And I watched crypto all the way to the creation of NFTs and all this stuff. But I also realized there still was a problem. You know, we've got NFTs, digital pictures on a blockchain, but how do they relate to something real? They don't. They're separate. There was still this problem of how do you connect the internet to something real? And again, and in looking at NFTs, I discovered this guy called Nicholas Quinn. So he's an inventor, and really he's the guy that started this whole thing off. His invention is a method of connecting two things together with cryptography. Basically, we have a little microchip, and this could be in a card, like a credit card. So this is offline, something you can hold in your hand, something real, something physical, and the important data is on the card. Now, this card can then link to, say, a blockchain, a link to an NFT, but it can link to anything, any network on the internet, which is now in the system, say, but the important data is not. It's separated on the card. And he's invented this system with such a high level cryptography that I personally would say this is unbreakable. And again, hopefully by the end of tonight, you'll see why I can say this. It's a big deal to say this. But when I saw this invention, I realized this is going to change the world. This is the solution, the holy grail that even blockchain has not yet solved. And this guy, Nicholas, has solved it. So again, I thought this guy was so big, there's no chance I could reach him. But I reached out to him, and amazingly, he was in London, and we met up and we had a discussion. And that's how this whole project started. And really, the first thing I asked him is, do you realize what you have invented? Do you realize the repercussions of this? What can be done with this technology? That he did. Very, very clever guy. So that from that point on, we started to develop this technology to try and prove, well, first of all, we were trying to prove ownership of things. Because again, it's the big problem. You imagine NFTs in artwork. You have a digital artwork. Yes, that goes onto an NFT, onto a blockchain. But a real physical artwork, well, you can't do that. But now with this technology, we could. So we started to try to use this to prove ownership. But then we realized ownership is not easy, because before you can have ownership, you need identity. But this technology is so good, we can also use it to prove identity. Now, this is where ENTIFY really started, this project. You can think of this project as the antidote or the opposite of the digital ID systems that are coming in. It's very similar in that it's about identity, but it is completely different. The information or the identity that each of us need, we hold ourselves in our own hand. It's completely offline, it's completely private, and it's completely impossible to access. There's literally no way to access this from the internet. Only we can access it by holding this card and touching the card. It works by touch, just like a contactless credit card payment system. So we started to develop this, and then we realized ownership and identity. These are big, big problems. There's legal things involved, lawful things involved. That's when I discovered Sovereign Pete and the Sovereign Project a few years back. And again, I realized, okay, these guys have got the information that we need to build this system. And really, we're doing the same thing. We're building a system that will allow us to remain free. It will allow us to remain private, and I mean totally and completely private. There are privacy systems out there, but nothing at this level. It's a totally different level. But we also need some knowledge, some understanding of how we can piece this together. And that's where the Sovereign Project, that's where Karl, that's where Pete comes in. So really, we're all working together for the same thing, you know, the good of us all, setting us all free and finding a new way we can operate in the world and build our own system. So there's two things we can do. We can build our own system, which is well underway, and I'll talk about it more. But we also need a way to integrate with the existing system. Again, that's a more complicated more complex problem, but we have also solved that. So quite literally, if I were to sum this project up, we have created a privacy, communication, and finance system that is completely independent, completely decentralized, is impossible to centralize, and it is entirely under our own control. No one else can control this. And furthermore, we don't even need the internet. See, at the moment we've got the internet, but this system we are moving eventually onto a radio mesh network. So that's an entirely different communication system. At the moment we've got the mobile phone, that's the SIM card. We've got the Wi-Fi, that's the internet. But there's another one. Again, some people may know this. It's a radio mesh system which works phone to phone or router to router. So that is not even centralized communication. Each one of our phones will be both the broadcaster and the receiver. So the whole network from the very infrastructure is run by us, and all the digital information is in each one of our own personal hands and impossible to take control of. So that's the foundation of it. So I'll come back to that step by step and tell you more. So Karl, does that make sense, or anything else I should say to introduce that? Or what
No,
would
no,
you say?
it's very, very clear. Thank you very much, Toby. It's so what people can see on the screen right now is obviously the phone and the cards which Toby was talking around. Now, again, we don't need to have a sovereign phone as such. It can be your phone that you use now once it has a technology to go into it. However, I want a new phone. Okay, I want to get the phone that Toby and the team are creating in the background, which we might talk about later on. But it's also the card as well that has the magic. This is your private jurisdiction. Everything that you have, your assets, your currency, your doesn't matter what it is in terms of money, gold, silver, or other types of assets, will start to move, if you want to, into your secure network. It's not mine, it's not Toby's, it's your secure network. Okay, we can communicate in the private on our own platform. Now, we know in years to come that if you want to use social media, we're probably going to have to do some sort of biometrics or some form of digital ID to tap into it. You can't stop it. Digital ID's been here for many years, and people are celebrating because the new PM saying we're not going to release digital cards. Come on, guys. Been here for years. It's a link between your on the vehicle to your mobile phone. On Renters Reform Act. So I'm a landlord, okay? Now, Renters Reform Act is another form of digital ID. It's a cage for landlords and tenants, okay, via registration on different platforms. They know everything about you because they've digitally captured all their information. So you don't physically need a card that the government are going to give you. Okay, so this offers you the opportunity to exit that system. You control your data and you can control your finances. The problem is, are you ready for that? Are you ready to be that part of the Matrix where Neo pulls the cords off of his back and goes into the real world? Are you ready for that? Some people are, some people aren't. The ones that aren't, hopefully you will learn to get there if you want to. So yeah, the products are here. We're going to go into a little bit more detail now. So Toby, I will go to the next slide and we can talk through this next part.
Yeah, okay. Let me say, okay, let's go back to the beginning for a second. What is this all about? Really, it's about trust. In order to have a network and to have, a system of independent people, sovereigns working together, we need to have trust between us. And trust is a tricky, tricky thing. And if you think about it, in order to trust each other, we must know who we are. We must have an identity. We must be able to validate and trust each other. And that's the big problem. We actually don't have a valid identity. We've got a birth certificate, but that's not really an identity. That's, again, just a bit of data that the government has given us. We need something more satisfactory that proves our reality, our life, that everyone else in the network can also trust. So the idea of this network is a layer of trust. And that's the big thing that the whole internet has never had, a trust layer. So once we've got this trust layer, everything else can be built upon it, step by step. So the first thing in order to have trust is the identity. And identity, again, is a complex thing. We can go into the details of that. But quite simply, really, we just need to prove that, yes, I am a living person, a living man or woman. I'm not AI. Right now, AI can fake your identity. It's a big problem. Any other, scammer or hacker can take your ID and fake your identity. We need a method to prove I am who I say I am, and you are who you say you are. Then when we talk to each other, we're safe. Then when we do business with each other, we're safe. And that is the foundation of this system. The card is the proof, because only you, as a living man or woman, can hold the card and touch the card to identify yourself. It's not the same as typing in a password, typing in a username. It's not an entry into the internet. It's something offline that connects to a device, and the device is connected to the network. This is the layer. And then this whole network is built up from this one foundation, the ability to prove our identity. So layer one is the identity itself. So that is holding the card. But there's more. You see, not only the card, we need some other proof to identify that we are conscious, that we have intention. And at the moment, we've got biometrics. Now, you might think that biometrics are good enough to identify ourselves, and not really. Biometrics can be faked, they're easy to bypass, but more importantly, biometrics are static. You're just taking a static fingerprint or iris scan. It's again a static piece of data like a password. So what we have developed is something we're calling the conscious biometric autograph. Now, if you already know things about the lawful system, even the legal system, your name is your identity. Your autograph, the way you sign it, is important. That is the old-fashioned way, the timeless way of proving your name, your consciousness. You would sign something, autograph a document, and that would activate it, give it power, and it would be unique. You'd practice your autograph so that everyone knows, yeah, that's Toby's autograph, we know it was him. But we've taken that ancient system and modernized it. So now what we have, instead of a static biometric, we have a conscious biometric autograph. So you'll do your autograph, again, into the device, into the phone. And it's a bit like in some phones you have symbol unlock, but it's not that, it's more detailed than that. It actually will measure the flow of your handwriting, the speed, the pressure, all different artistry. Many factors are analysed, so you reach a threshold of recognition. See, each time you write it is going to be slightly different. But this is, if you get this right, this is extremely difficult, if not impossible to break. And it's the first and only cryptography that will prove, hang on, you're alive and you're conscious. So it's taken the old-fashioned way of proving identity, autograph, signature, and put it into a digital way. So that is layer two. So once you've got this offline hardware key card that holds the data of your identity, and you've got a conscious biometric autograph, these two things really do now prove the living man or woman. So that's the foundation. And it means you've got two-factor. You've got the card touch and an autograph, so one can back up the other. Now, the next level, you see, once you've got this identity, now we need to have communication. So the next level is we've got to be able to talk to each other. So now communication, we're using a relatively new program. Many of you may or may not know it. It's called Reticulum. So this is another protocol, a decentralized communication protocol. And it can run on anything. The way this works, it doesn't work with numbers like phone numbers. It works with identities. It already does that. Each user has a unique identity, a key in the network. So you're talking to individual users. The program already does that. So already Reticulum is the best decentralized communication system out there. It's open sourced. It was developed by a very clever guy. I forget his name now. But he's open sourced it, again, with the same ideas of freedom, sovereignty. We've got to be able to live our lives in the way we want to. So he developed this, and we're using it. But again, Nicholas, the main inventor, he's taken Reticulum up to the next level. And when you have Reticulum, this chat network, and you combine it with your autograph and this offline hardware key card, now your identity has already got 3 levels. Your identity is on the card, it's on the autograph, but now it's also in the network. So you're logged into a network, again, proving your identity and connecting to people. So that's the third level. Each level reinforces the others. There's still more. Now, on top of that, on top of communication, we got to be able to chat, talk to each other. And remember, this is completely private. There's no way of getting into this. It does not use the same systems as the internet. It can run on the internet. It can run on the SIM card mobile phone, but it doesn't use the same system. It is completely independent. So we've got to be clear about that. But then the next level after communication is we also need finance. We need to be able to do business with each other. Now, again, if we want to be individuals, sovereigns, we can do that face to face. Karl, I'm sure, has talked about that a lot, using gold-backed notes, all different things we could do. But to do international business, to do big business, multiple transactions, we've got to keep up to date. We've got to use this. We're living in a global digital world now. There must be a way we can integrate with that, or at least build a new system, which is what we're doing. So then we can have international business safely and securely, still operating in the same way. Again, you've got to think of it like this. It's the old-fashioned way of honor, meeting each other in the eye, shaking hands, signing it, passing over some gold. The level of trust in the old days is now possible in the new days because of this system. So on top of Reticulum, which is communication, and now we can have trusted identities communicating, we still need a financial system. So this is where blockchain comes in. Now, initially, again, we were seriously developing blockchain because, as I said, blockchain is good, but not quite good enough. There's another level we have to reach. But blockchain has already been proven to, be used for money, transactions. It's good enough that we can trust every transaction. There's no fakery. There's no way of hacking it and messing around. There are other ways of messing around, but not within the actual program. However, there's still the problem of connecting, say, a real piece of gold to a digital piece of gold. That problem is still there until now. But in the last year, we've discovered a more powerful way of doing this, far more powerful than blockchain itself. So for finance, we are doing something above and beyond blockchain. So this is going to be new for everyone. And if you're new to blockchain, well, okay, I've just introduced blockchain. Now we're going up to the next level. So blockchain, essentially, the way it works is it collects all the data, all the transaction, and puts them in a little block. And then one block connects to the next block, connects to the next block, and then we can look back through the history. It's linear. So you have to store all the data. And that's why blockchain, again, the problem with blockchain is the data, the data storage is bigger and bigger. So Bitcoin is massive, 100 gigabytes for the backup, and it gets slower and slower. So when you try and do global transactions with blockchain, it slows down, it has problems. Again, so this is another problem. But the way we're going to do it, it has removed all those problems. Again, let me go back one step. When I first discovered Nicholas, again, he had invented this card that would connect to an NFT, an individual token on a blockchain. So it was all to do with blockchain back then. And at that point, I already knew blockchain had these problems. And I knew that with this card, we could go back and recreate blockchain all over again without the problems. So my first plan was to redesign a blockchain, create a brand new blockchain. One that I was going to call a proofless blockchain, because it would work in a different way. But in recent months, in discussion with our team, now we've got a brilliant team, 6 people in our team. Karl is in our team. I've got to have Karl in here. But some clever guys, including Nicholas. And we worked out some newer, simpler networking solutions for this. So instead of rebuilding blockchain from scratch, what we have done is taken Reticulum. So reticulum is the decentralized chat network. That is already a communication. All we have to do is upgrade reticulum a little bit more so that it's good enough for finance. See, blockchain, it has to be blockchain because it must be secure enough for financial transactions. Other communication, not quite secure enough. But, okay, here's the thing. On top of reticulum, we add another program, and this program, most of you may not have heard of, it's called a DAG, D-A-G, and it stands for Direct Acyclic Graph. Now, the way we can think about this is a program that just keeps track of relationships. If you think of a blockchain, it keeps track of data block by block by block by block. It's one long line. But a DAG is not a line. A DAG is asymmetric. It links things together, all different. So we've got individuals communicating on a network, reticulum, and the DAG will keep track of each of those individuals and their relationships and what transfers between them. So it's still decentralized, but this is now more advanced, more secure, and is all we need now to take reticulum up to the level of blockchain security, so we can now do finance on that. And finance, by finance, I actually mean our own system. We can create a token. So a token is another discussion what that really means, but all money is a token. And at the moment we're using dollars and pounds, they're tokens, but who issued the tokens? We didn't issue them, they were issued by the bank. And the bank has got all their little rules and regulations, their interest, and of course they're creating more and more. So those tokens are continually devaluing down and down and down, and they're arbitrary, all fighting against each other. So we don't even know really what they're worth. And blockchain is another token, but even blockchain, we haven't defined what they mean. So people complain about blockchain funny money. It's all funny money, but we can create a token now in a system that is above and beyond blockchain. And by that I mean it is scalable. It does not have the blockchain problems. Doesn't matter how big our network gets, the money transfer, the token transfer will be instantaneous. In fact, the bigger the network, the faster it gets. Furthermore, there will be no fees. At the moment, there's always fees in transfer. You think about it, banking fees, they're always charging a fee. They're charging you enough, interest is enough, but they still charge you fees. Blockchain has got fees. They all charge fees because there's so much work to do. Well, we've got a system with very little work to do and we don't need fees. So inside ENTIFY network, we will have feeless financial transaction, at least with our own token inside the network. And then it's up to us how we define that token, what we say it means, and how we use it between each other, between ourselves. I'll come back to that in a bit because there's a lot more discussion about that. But for now, you can see what we're building. And each layer reinforces the other one. So we start off with identity, me, the living man. Well, I've got consciousness, I write an autograph. The autograph becomes cryptography that only I can unlock. So now it's not passwords. I don't have to remember anything. I've just got to remember my autograph. That is my unlock. But that connects to my card. That's offline. I hold that. I look after that. Then the card can touch to a device. That is my verification. That's all you need. And that allows you into the network. Once you're in the network, you know everyone else in the network is the same like you, like me. They've done an autograph, they've got a card. I can trust everyone. Everyone you talk to, it's impossible for that person to be AI. And again, you can even say, touch your card. They touch their card, it verifies it's them. You know, someone calls you up, you think, is that really you? Touch your card, let me prove it's you. You touch it, it's done. Now, furthermore, you've got reticulum that binds us all together. We're all communicating. That further verifies it because there's a history. And then we've got a DAG, this direct acyclic graph. Again, let's think of the DAG as the blockchain. It's not the same, but let's call it a blockchain. The blockchain now is a record of all the interactions and the transactions we've made. That is, again, further verification, reinforcement of the original identity. So it gets to the next level. But there's still more. There's still more. You see, the next level on top of that. Okay, nearly finished, Karl. Let me finish this bit. The next bit on top of that is we're building the infrastructure itself. So far, everything I've said is software, except for the card, which is hardware. But now we build our own hardware, which is the phone. And the phone, again, this whole system, software, can run on the internet. It can run on any mobile phone. But if we can run it on our own mobile phone, and we're building this, it's being built as we speak, we can create a mobile phone with a radio mesh. Again, we haven't got this yet, but it's coming soon. Radio mesh means we would have our independent network. Now, radio mesh is very interesting. It's another layer of confirmation, because a radio mesh gives you another form of confirmation. It gives you location. Each phone has got a positioning, and the mesh connects all phones, and you know where they all are. The network will know, his phone is over there, this coordinates. So when you log on to your phone, it actually knows your location with your signature, your autograph, your card, and now a physical location reinforcing your identity. So that becomes the layer of physics, confirming everything. So all of this goes to reinforced trust. And because now the trust, the verification, the authenticity of identity is so powerful, it becomes, again, let me just say, virtually impossible to break. We've never seen anything like this. And so far, to break cryptography, we all know it's a hacker, typing, typing, typing. Yeah, to break this cryptography, you have to break into every single layer of this system, all simultaneously. Some of them are software, some of them are hardware. It's impossible. So we've got a system that is, I believe, future-proof. And even the foundational cryptography that Nicholas created, just the cryptography that links the card to the device, the touch. So there's no way of creating a fake card interfering between the signal of the card. That cryptography is called post-quantum, which means it's so good even a quantum computer could not break it. So in summary, ENTIFY is the most advanced cryptographic security, privacy, communication, network, finance system ever devised. And it's actually being built. We've got working prototypes of everything. They're all proven, and now we're piecing them together. So back to you, Karl.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, it does. It does. Well, to me, I've been in this for years, right? So it makes sense to me. But everyone, this is a lot of detail to take. Now, I wanted Toby to deliver some detail to you so you can see how clever and how deep it is. And for some of you, it may go over your head. Do not worry about that, okay? Just don't worry about that. But you all know about what's happening with the financial system. You all know about the pound is devaluing. You even probably know as well that the pound has no intrinsic value. So you need to exit that system and get your assets out as quick as possible. Now, when Toby's been talking around proving yourself and ID and this, that, and the other, what we're saying here is, guys, that the sovereign project can only ever be ENTIFY's only customer. Okay, it's only sovereign project members that are going to get this technology. Okay, that's why it's very, very important to network with us. Don't be silent. Don't be a lone wolf. Come and network with us. Come to our workshops. Come to our events. We need to see you, because this is the whole thing about being honourable, right? We need to look into your eyes to make sure they're an honourable man and woman. Now, me and Pete and Jeanette have got a process map for this and how we're going to do that, because obviously we've got 20,000 members. So we've got a process where we can engage with our members one by one to make sure that they come with honour, clean hands and a good heart, because those men and women will get the technology and be able to enter into the higher level. There's going to be no criminals. There's going to be no gangs. There's going to be no riffraff people. We don't want any politicians. We don't want anyone like that. There's only honourable men and women that will come into this group. So when Toby says about identification, we're gonna roadmap that, so we make sure that only good sovereign project members come through. That's why it's so important that you guys come here today. Because right away, every name that's gone into the CRM, I know that you guys are action takers, okay? I know that you're action takers because you're here right now. And there's probably about 112 people that didn't turn up today. Laziness, right? If you really want to exit the system and start to protect yourself properly, many of you may not realize how advanced the sovereign project is. Well, this is going to give you a little taster tonight, okay? Now, Toby mentioned about it's unbreakable, it's unhackable. Correct. Their system, their economy is open source. The pound notes is open source. You don't have to use it. When we've created our own system, right, they can't use it. They've got no legal connection, okay? Legal connection. They don't own it. They don't control it. It's not going to be registered in any way, shape or form. And by the way, me and Toby, we're using the communications platform right now. Me and Toby are communicating on it already. So it is here. It's not hearsay. All right. Now, the other thing as well, Toby mentioned about businesses and trade. You're thinking, well, how's that going to happen? Hello, has no one realised we've got a business directory on the Sovereign project now? We've got about 200 businesses in there, and it's growing every day. We've got more and more businesses advertising and listed in the business directory. We're starting to show those businesses how to operate in PMAs, private members associations, instead of limited companies. Okay, that's starting to learn. Fantastic. Brilliant. I'm now interviewing those business those business owners, and we're promoting their businesses, and we're going to start launching their businesses across the social media channels. I don't want to put fear porn on our social medias no more. It bores me. I just want to talk about remedy, helping businesses grow our frigging network so people show we've got infrastructure, we've got a platform. Only Sovereign Project members are going to see this. This is insane what we have. So I'm very excited. You can probably tell that, right? Because this is going to help you with your quest of true freedom. Anyway, we'll move on to the next slide, and Toby can, if he hasn't done already, talk us through this next part.
Oh yeah, okay. This is the slide of the closed loop system. Yeah, which is what I was talking about. This is about the fact that this system is so powerful and why it's again, this is a world changer. Each part of the system reinforces the other. You start off with your identity, it goes to the card, it goes to the network, goes all the way around and back to the radio mesh, back to the real person. But now what Karl was saying, in fact, is worth saying a little bit more. The system itself, when it is up and running, the system is so powerful that a criminal would not actually last long in there. Because you have to understand that the internal token, the system is self-contained. We're creating within it its own economy, its own token, its own communication, only inside the network itself. So within the network, everything is quite obvious. If you try and do any crime within the network, it will be immediately picked up and you'll be called out on it. So in the long term, literally a criminal wouldn't even want to join because there's nothing they could do in there. I haven't even discussed proving ownership, but you'll be able to prove ownership of everything you have, your car, your house. It will be provably yours, and no way for anyone to even steal it, at least within the network, because the way the network is set up. But in the beginning, again, we're growing a network step by step, and we need another level. We need to ensure that the men and women joining are the sovereigns, are the honorable men and women. So that at the very beginning of this, we need some identity, some entry process to make sure we're starting with the right people. So yes, we're starting with the Sovereign project, and in a way, this is the technology for us to do business as well as communicate. So we can also call this the Sovereign Guild, which I'm sure Karl will talk about a bit more. But I think, yeah, let's try the next slide, Karl, if you don't mind. Let's go to the next one. Let's see what the next one is.
Got it?
Yeah, okay. This is an interesting one. Yes, this is worth looking at because I've written a book about this. This project is so big. I've been trying to explain it for years and years before I met Karl, and it always falls on deaf ears. People don't understand it. They don't realize they need it, and they can't see, oh, it's too much of a big change. But it's so important. And if you, the book I've just written is called ENTIFY, The Architecture of Trust, Why a Coherent Civilization is Now Possible. And in that book, I'm actually deriving it step by step. I'm explaining, all right, let's just look at it. Let's forget the world, what we've got. Imagine we're starting from the beginning. How would we construct a civilization operating globally that it would work and we can all get on in harmony, it'd be cooperative, We would trust each other. What do we need and how would it work? Well, these are the things we need. Now, if you think about it, the very foundation of trust is identity. The first thing we need is trust. Without trust, you can't have anything. But the first thing for trust is identity. So once we've established that, and again, I've talked about this now cryptographically, linking your identity to the network. But what Karl is talking about is a bit more than that, the lawful or the sovereign way of creating an identity. That is also a personal statement. You actually have to make an expression of your being. Express this in a document, and then you autograph the document. That's the old-fashioned way. But that's a method for you to put forward to the network, hang on, I am trustworthy. This is the way I see myself. Now, what do you guys think? And we look at it and think, yeah, that's great, come in. So when you have your sovereign identity tied to the network, that's the way this whole thing starts. But if you have that together with the system, now we've got the first layer of trust, identity. But if you must have identity. If you don't have identity, you cannot move to number two, ownership. You think about it. We want to talk about owning things. We think we own things. Yeah, we don't own things because we don't have a real identity. Right now, we actually don't have an identity. So you cannot own anything if you don't know who you are. Who does that object belong to? I need valid proof, authenticity of you as a living being before we can say you own that thing. So this is the second stage. First, you must have identity. Identity will allow you to prove ownership. So this is how we're starting to build civilization or a sovereign network. So once you've got ownership, again, proven ownership, now it moves to the next thing. Without ownership, you cannot have exchange. You see that, again, big problem. We're exchanging things we don't really own. There's so many problems in the world because of this. You can manipulate ownership, cheat, scam, steal things. None of it is clear. And then you're exchanging things that may or may not really be yours, and the whole thing gets confusing. But if you can prove identity, then you can prove ownership. Only then can you have real exchange. So inside our ENTIFY network, these things will be real. And they will be real for the first time in history. Digitally proven, mathematically proven. Not proven by government, by bits of paper, external databases. No, proven by the very structure itself. But the structure itself is built on your autograph, the real living man or woman using it. Now, after you've got exchange, here's the next interesting one, is value. Now, this is where we talk about money. Now, it's a big thing. If you get my book, I thoroughly recommend you get this book. There's nothing else like it. You will see all this and why this is needed and how it's going to work. Value is actually not quite the same thing as money. Money has been separated from value. That's why we've got so many problems and they can play so many games with us. But value is intrinsic. We will feel it. We will know it. We value our life. You know, if someone puts a gun to your head, you know what's at stake. That's value. Give them your dollars. Yeah, have my dollars. That's not the value. The value is your life. We will know that. So exchange, once exchange becomes real, ownership becomes real, value starts to become real. And this is where I'm talking about our token. The token in our system, we can call it money, but our own token really would be a token of value. And it's up to us how we define it. And we've done a lot of work in ENTIFY to work out a mathematics and economics of way we can define this token and use it in such a way that we will all understand it. Again, check out the website, all the links. I'll put it in the chat when I next stop. You can look at the website and buy the book. You'll read all about it. But the value, let's just say, instead of thinking about money as this number, let's talk about man hours. You've done 2 hours work. Well, that we can all understand. 2 hours work, well, that's 2 tokens. Very simple, very intuitive. Now, it's a bit more than hours because, you know, different hours are worth more than other hours. So we've called the token life hour value. So it's a particular value of your hours, but it's a simple thing. The money now represents how many hours of your life you put into the service or the product that you're selling. And everyone in the network will understand that. So we can use this token to do internal business with each other. But remember, this is a new token for a new system. And this will take time for us to get used to and adopt. But the system is so powerful, we can still use any other tokens we like. We can still just use gold. See, gold is still arbitrary, but we know what gold is, so we can exchange gold. Now, again, think about it. Inside the sovereign network, you'll be exchanging things for gold, but do you really know how much gold is worth? Think about it. No, you don't. For you to know how much gold is worth, you're going to look outside. You're going to look to the banks. You're going to look to the stock market, and you're going to say, oh, gold is worth $2,000. Hang on, dollars? No, 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 we're not using dollars. Now tell me what gold is worth. You don't know. So what we use in our system, we are creating it. And this value token, again, life hour values that I'm talking about, this is the best way that we've discovered to create this. And I think when you look at it, you will agree. Everyone in the world should agree on this as a token of value. I don't think anyone will disagree that life is the most valuable thing out there. And hours of your life is the way we could measure it. And we just need a bit more mathematics to be more specific about what you are creating or doing with your life. For example, a doctor might be a bit more important than sweeping the floor, let's just say. But there was a transparent mathematics that will express this in the system, and that we can all look at it and understand it. So here, value now becomes possible within the system, and it builds up. You see, remember, without identity, we can't even get to this. It's the whole problem. We've got all these things in the world right now, but none of them really work. The whole thing is a joke when you look at it. And when you, again, I urge you to have a look at the book. When you read the book, you'll see the logic, step by step, how it has to work. And when you see it, it starts to make sense. And then you start to understand why you need the Sovereign Project and their knowledge, because their knowledge is also explaining how the world has used all these things. And because all these things are fallible, they can be used to manipulate us, play games with us, and take advantage of us. But inside the system, we are rebuilding them in such a way nobody can take advantage of it. They can't be manipulated because identity cannot be manipulated. So identity proves ownership. Ownership allows for exchange. Exchange now allows for value. Now the next one, this gets very interesting. This is where the whole world changes. Value allows for incentives. And incentives means motivation, behavior, how we behave in the world. Now, if you look at the world, the way it is run, everyone in the world, we are all just chasing money. That's about it. The corrupt people in power, all the amazing, crazy things they're doing. Why? Money. The people that create the money, they've got the most money, they're running the world. Why? Because they don't want to lose their power of money. So money is the incentive. But money, remember, is not value. That's where we got all wrong. Money is a game. It's a casino. So they're playing a game, and everyone now, we're all tied into the game, and our behavior, our incentive is to make more money, get money, but not to create value. You can get money by cheating, stealing, manipulating, doing all sorts of funny business. You can create a good product, but it's not about the product, it's about selling the product. Value is about creating a good product that we all benefit from. Different to selling. Again, you've got to have a look at the book, but think about it. These two things are the way the whole world is built. And these are the two things we're changing. This will change the world. But step by step, we change it inside first. That's why we need good people at the beginning, good men and women to build an identity, honorable. Then it builds up to value and incentives. Now, if we change the value system, the incentive is not money, but the incentive is the value. To gain more value, you have to put more life in, but you put more life in to do something of value that people recognize. Look at it like this. Instead of chasing money, just these paper notes, digital numbers, what we're chasing is cooperation. What we're chasing is doing something good that other people will appreciate. We are chasing gratitude. If people are grateful to you, you've done something so useful to me, of course I'll pay you. It's a different thing, a different incentive. So the incentive itself becomes working together. And now this goes together with the guild system. In the old days, some of you may or may not know this, but the guild system used to operate before the 1700s. And this system operated outside money. It did not use money. It was about honor, value, and creating things of use and beauty, the highest level of craftsmanship. And they were skillful people, and they weren't paid for in wages, but they were looked after by the whole system. They lived in a house, they got food, medical care, everything they needed. They didn't think about money. They dedicated their life to creating value, and they did it in the way that they loved. They loved life. Now, in the 1700s, the banks came in. Again, a long battle with the banks, but the banks need money. They don't need value. They're changing value. They're taking the value away and create a game with money. So then again, the banks connect to the state, the system, and they gave an ultimatum to the guilds. Listen, you're breaking the law. You have to use money. If you don't use money, we're going to close down the guild system. So are you going to use money? And the guild says, no way, we're out. So we're not using money. So the guild system closed. And from that point on, all the work went downhill. No one was doing work for the work's sake, for value's sake, for quality's sake. Now they were all scrabbling around for pennies in the gutter, trying to feed themselves. That's the bank. They've changed the incentive. They changed the game. See, value is not a game. That's life. But money is a game, and it's a dark, dangerous, evil game we're all playing now. Now, saying that, we still have to integrate with the banks, and it's another story. What I'm telling you now is the internal network, but once we've built the internal network, we still will have a way to connect to the external banks and keep us all safe and private. It's another long story, but just take from me from now, we can do this. But let me just explain the full system. So, if we can change value, or rather measure value correctly, not money, value, then we change incentives. Then the whole world starts to change. We have cooperation. Once we have cooperation, then we build a new civilization, but from the inside out. And what's nice about ENTIFY is this is not a revolution. We're not actually fighting the system. Remember, this is private, internal, untouchable. And nothing in here is illegal, what we're doing. Again, the government might complain. So what you're doing, we're saying we're proving identity. And we could say to them, well, you're proving identity, aren't you? Yes, the government says, yes, we're doing digital identity. I say to them, well, is your digital identity secure? Can you tell me no, the government is not. Ours is. Give me your government identity. I don't care. Give it to me. I will put it in my system and lock it away with 100% security. I could take the government ID, lock it away. The government will never see it, but I will have it and it will be perfectly secure. They cannot complain. It's a very clever system. So we build it from the inside out. And once we built this internal system, then we also build a bridge. Another system that connects to this that will allow us to connect with the external banking system and external crypto markets. So then, yes, our token will work for us inside the network only. You say LHV value token. Well, you can't go to Sainsbury's and spend that. But within us, you can. We'll accept that in time. But from inside this system, we will still have a method where, yes, you can go to Sainsbury's and buy some food with pounds or dollars, and you will still be anonymous. So again, at the holy grail of this, no one has got this solution. I think we're the only ones to find this solution. The government money, CBDCs, digital IDs will not affect us. Because, yes, we can use digital money, but we have a bridge. So the digital money will not be connected to your name. So it doesn't matter. You're using it, but it's not you using it. We might come back to that later. But yeah, back to you, Karl. Does that make sense?
It does. Again, it's a lot of detail going in there, guys, but you need to hear it. to start to believe it. There's the website you can go on as well, entify.world, to start to read up about this, because if you want your freedom, guys, this is it. Now, you know, in the legal system, you cannot own anything. It's impossible. You don't own the vehicles, you don't own your homes or your residential properties, as you know, because you don't own the land. The land is a land mass, which is just a jurisdiction. You've got a legal title deed. There's ways and means, my friends, to secure your assets, which is pretty awesome. There's lots of people asking questions in the chat group. I can't keep up. So what we can do towards the end, we're going to do a Q&A anyway. But what I will do, I will monitor the chat group. So if you do have a question, write it in capital letters, acronym, American Sign Language. We know about Latin now, right? Capital letters. And then write the rest of your question in lowercase, so the questions start to stand out for me, so I can then read them off to Toby if needs be. A few other people as well have been messaging about regarding investment. We do have a few investors that have come on board to help us, which is great, because Toby's put his own money into it. The team need to be paid. I've put lots of money into the Sovereign project as well, to help us get to where we are in terms of events and growing the Sovereign project with all other stuff we've been doing. So we're actually funding this ourselves. But what we're also doing as well, which we might tap on later on, is if people do want to invest in that and it's completely up to them, then they get a bigger front row seat. So I'm just putting it out there. But what we do, we move on to the next slide.
Yeah, okay, this is on the website, so you can check out the website. This is the infographic, just telling you basically the difference and how it works. So the foundation of this is what we're calling the ENTI card. So again, you can think of this as an identity card, but it is not. It's a key. It's better to think of this like a key card, just like a hotel key card. You touch the door to get in, but this is a key card you touch to a device to get into the network. So this will work for your computer, work for your mobile phone. And like I said, we're building the network to run on any device. And we're building it in stages. So the first stage is the network itself. The second stage will be the autograph, so we can have that to access it. The third stage will be the card. And then the fourth stage will be the phone itself. Once we build our own phone, that's going to be very interesting, because the phone and the card will work together. So once you've got the phone, that will also become like a secondary card. So in reality, you know, you've got this clever identity card. You don't want to lose it. Now, we'll give you two. The way we're going to work it is we'll give you two cards. So again, sovereign life means responsible. Again, people don't like that. I've got to be responsible. Yeah, you have to. That's the whole problem we've got. The internet and the world, the way the world works, it's exploiting our laziness. They're giving us all sorts of convenience, but laziness allows these weaknesses to come in. But again, there will be security for this. We'll give you two cards, so you can keep one very, very safe, somewhere locked away. Then you've got a second one that you can use to activate your device. But once we've got the phone, well, now that just becomes like any smartphone. And you have your banking app, your communication on the phone. That's good enough. But then for some confirmations, you have to go back and get your card to touch it, just to confirm it's still you, no one else playing any games. Or, you know, for high transactions, you have levels of verification. But in the end, it will be a very beautifully simple system, not much different to what we've got, a smartphone. But the way I want to design the smartphone, it should be even easier, very intuitive, very easy for anyone to use. Even a child could use it. You know, straightforward, simple stuff. Everything is getting so complicated now because there's so many add-ons. Everything is added on for security. We're stripping it all away and starting again, and we don't have to add on much because it's worked from the very beginning. And again, once more, once we've got the phone, we have our own independent infrastructure, the radio mesh. Now the phone also becomes independent. But again, in practice, you might lose your phone. If you lose your phone, no big deal, or someone steals your phone, the phone, it will be impossible to get into. Again, there'll be a way of securing the phone, an unlock method. We could even have the signature, the autograph as an unlock, or at least for a second stage after a period of time. So if anyone gets the phone, it's just like a brick, no way of getting into it. But if you get another phone, you just have to get another phone, take your card, touch it to the phone, and now the new phone is yours, and the old phone is disconnected. So now it doesn't matter what happens to that, none of your information is on the phone. You see, the information is decentralized. The information is on the network, but the keys to the information is in the card. So this is an important distinction. So losing your card or losing your phone is actually not a big problem. You can fix it because the information is on the network. But if you do lose your card and you lose your phone, it's a bigger deal to get back in. But there will be a way, because remember, it's a living network, and there will be still a record of your conversations, your chats, your transactions on the DAG. So all of that is still recorded on the decentralized network, and with enough people that you might go and meet, they can confirm, yes it is Toby, yes it is Toby, please reinstate his identity, then maybe you can get in again. But in simple practical terms, if you have 2 cards and 1 phone, that should be enough. You keep 1 card stored away safely, the second card stored away semi-safely. So that one you might lose, you might take that away with you, but if you lose that, no problem, you've still got the other one, and you order yourself a second spare card. So you've always got 2 cards, and you've got the phone. Again, if you lose the phone, no problem, you have to order a new phone, but then you take your card and reactivate your phone. So that, again, responsible people, that should be fine. You last forever on that. We need a continuous connection of your identity. Remember, this network is built to last forever. I can't stress this enough. You've got to have a look at the book. Because this will last forever, your identity, your ownership, your assets, your finances are recorded in this private network forevermore. You can transfer this, your legacy, your estate to your children. Literally, the touch of your card, estate translates over. You know, of your parents die, you need authentication, you know, it's done through the network. And very easy. The whole thing is a chain. And it's a perfectly provable chain, like a blockchain, but it's not a blockchain, it's a reticulum DAG. It's not just a reticulum DAG, it's a conscious biometric on a hardware key card connected to a reticulum DAG, connected to a radio mesh smartphone. It's serious new technology. We've not seen this before. So again, don't worry if you don't understand this. I've written a book, check the website. Again, I've written a book because it is difficult to understand. But here I'm trying to show you how practically it would work. And in day-to-day life, once we've got the bridge working, now it's ever so simple. You just use it like a banking app. You use your smartphone. You can have your normal apps, but your ENTIFY apps will be private separately. And again, your banking system will be through ENTIFY. You go to the shop, you buy something by touching your phone. You could also touch your card, but I think touching the phone would be better. So again, just like a credit card. But, okay, there's a way we could explain it. It's more like, usually your credit card or your banking app is connected to your name. So then it's registered to you. But imagine you had a business account. You're part of a big company and you have a company credit card. Now you go and spend money on the company credit card. Well, that's not your name. That's the company name. And people like that. Oh, I spent the company money. It's not me. That's the way ENTIFY would work. Once we build the bridge, you can go and spend the money. If you're inside the network, it's your money to spend. But the network is the protection layer. That means you're never revealed. The network as the whole is the interface. So again, separately, again, psychologically, think of it like this. We are all separate individual sovereigns, autonomous, doing what we like. But inside this digital network, there's no control. There's not a government. It's not centralized. But the technology, the architecture, the mathematics, when we link together through this structure, it's like we all become one unit working together. That one unit becomes more powerful. You see, just me with the key card is good, but the key card connected to the network is better, and the network connected to the mesh is better. This is the secret of it. Again, it's an interesting paradox. We could call this a perfect democracy. See, it's not voting, it's not a government, but a mathematical democracy. We are all perfectly sovereign, individual, autonomous, but when we link together through this architecture, we all work together as one, and that gives us greater power. And furthermore, there's all groups around the world now. They're all trying to do this. Many people creating different communications, privacy systems. I've looked at many of them, but there's nothing else quite like this. The way I see it, eventually when they see this, they will all come to this, just because it's the best one. It's mathematically and technologically provably to be so. So when everyone starts to use this system and join, suddenly it will get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then we'll get more and more power. And the bigger the network gets, the more businesses are available inside the network, that you don't need the outside world, you don't need the external shops. So slowly the external world will become less and less important, and everything we need will be inside the system. But again, there's still a bridge between the two, which we might talk about later. But let me go back to Karl again. Let Karl talk about a bit more. Maybe he might talk about that.
Yeah,
Back over to you
absolutely.
again, Karl.
Cheers, my friend. Now, I'm going to go to Toby's last point there. Lots of people are going to start to come our way. When you've got a absolute genius, which Toby is, he's going to attract a lot of people. And believe me, he's attracting a lot of people right now. However, I will go back to the point that only sovereign project members will get this technology. So those people coming in are massively behind the curve. You guys right now are on the curve, and some of you are very advanced because anyone that's going to learn this, they've got to do the courses. They've got to learn how the system works. They've got to learn what sovereign truly means. Okay, they need to know the inner power that we all have, that we all create. Most of you in the room will know the difference between a family name and a surname, for example. You need to know that information. Okay, so what Pete is delivering on those courses is showing you how the system works. So it's very important you do your learning. So you are responsible, you are organized, and you're able to manage your own affairs. This is why we do the notice writing course every week, so we can show people how to use their paperwork effectively. No one who's going to be lazy or weak-minded will get into this. So you've got a front row seat, basically. Okay, now I work with a number of farmers now, and they're starting to learn this. They work 16-hour days in the field. So if they can do it and learn, so can you. And some of my farmers now are getting very, very advanced, right? And it's very, very exciting. Okay, because they're a massive, another big key to this. Our food system is so important, and we're working with many, many groups now to then basically save the farmer. So if I can show a farmer how to decline invitation to inheritance tax, imagine what else we can do. And that's what we're doing right now in this room. We're giving you that front row seat to show this really amazing platform that we have. So what we do, we go to the next slide and see if Toby wants to pick up any points. And then what we do towards the end of the slide, we'll show you how the economies work in a very simple flowchart that we're gonna present. So Toby, did you want to talk around this one at all, or have you covered
Yes.
some of it already?
Yeah, that's what. Okay, this is worth talking about. Yeah, this is the value system. Okay, so far I've talked about technology, the architecture, what we're building, and it's simply a private communication and financial system. So again, we have our own social media, our own everything within this, completely independent. It can run on the internet, but not in the internet, if you know what I mean. You can think of it like an intranet, a private internet within the internet. But our token, we have that. But then value. Now, within ENTIFY, we've now also developed another app. It's called the Fair Price Oracle. Now, this is an app that is decoding value out of the existing economy. So the existing economy is all fiat currencies, created by different, well, different banks, but let's just say different countries, and they're all trading against each other. So we have this rather complex game of different fiat currencies against each other, and it's hard to actually draw out what is going on. Where's the real value of anything? Because any product, it doesn't. Fiat currency doesn't reflect the real value of the product. It could be inflated or deflated based on the currency itself, the manipulation of the markets. We can't tell. So we developed an app that helps to decode what's going on in the external economy. So the idea of this app is you use your phone and you can scan any product. You go to any shop, scan the product, and it tells you what the price of the product is, but then it tells you what the real price is. So for example, you scan a computer and you see the computer is that costs £1,000. Scan it with the app, you put it in, and the app says, well, actually that's worth £300. And you go, why is that? Well, it's because that computer was made in another country with slave labor. And we've tracked all that and researched the product, and it tells you what that is. So now there is some mathematics that we worked out, again, many months of, well, years. All of us had to work on this. Some very, very clever minds thinking about this, how on earth we could do this. But we have now done it. So you can check out the app, the Fair Price Oracle. And in this, really, the way we have decoded this is we've actually created two tokens. So the token that I first told you about is, you can see on the right hand side here, the life hour value, LHV. Now, in a way, that's easy to understand. That's the human cost, or the living man and woman cost. So that's quite simple. How much work did we put into a product to create it? And that again, life hours, it doesn't matter what country, that's a stable value, by the way. You know, think about making a loaf of bread. It takes you 1 hour to make a loaf of bread here in England. You go to India, it takes you 1 hour to bake a loaf of bread in India. It's the same value. So the token is actually a stable token of value. And we've proven this in the app. We've done back testing to prove this. So the life hour value, in a way, that is the internal token, quite easy to understand, but it's a completely new system. It's nothing like money as we know it. So we have to work up to that, adopt that, and think about it. And as I said, we still need a bridge, a way to bridge to the existing economy, the fiat currency, and now the cryptocurrency. And cryptocurrency, you know, when Bitcoin started, that was new, it was hopeful. But now it's just the same as the banks. It's just another casino chip. It operates in a different way, but it's still basically the same way, trading amongst each other, value changes. So we've managed to now dissect. Okay, let's look at it like this. If we go back to life hour value, you can imagine a product. So we can look at a product and work out how many hours it took to make that. And then we give a fair value on all the people involved, you know, in the manufacture of a product. We can work that out. But now let's just say that product is sold in a country. And now it's sold in a country for fiat currency. Now the fiat currency, in a way, that is in itself a product. The country or the bank has created that product. So the currency itself has got a sort of value, but it's a value to the people, the living men and women in the country. So we can actually, what we've done in the Fair Price Oracle is made an assessment based on feedback of people, you know, real living people in all the countries, as to how happy they are with their country. This is one of the data points we used to work this out. There is a data point called the Global Happiness Report. There's many, many years of this, you know, how happy are you in this country, that country. There's many data sets we've used to work this out. So what we did is we worked out the economics for another token, which we called the equity value token. So this is a token that is more closely connected to fiat currency. So if you think about fiat currency, all different currencies around the world, they're all moving about, all changing. What is the foundational balance of all those currencies? How can we find the balance point? So you might think it's the dollar. The dollar is the most universal money. It all boils back down to the dollar. So the dollar is close, but it's not the dollar. There's all these other ones. There's some balance between them all. And if we could find this balance point in all the fiat currencies, that actually gives us a fairer value to what we're buying. So this token, again, we calculated this as an economic metric, which we called the equity index. It's like the fair price of anything, the balance point of everything going on in the economy. And if we take the the equity index, and turning it into a token that we could use, that is the equity value token. Now that gives us a bridge, a way that we can actually create a token and actually launch it in the external world. So people can buy and sell this token, anyone could, but the token has a meaning, and the meaning is given by this app. So everyone can understand what this token value actually means. It's still a free token, you can spend it. Like anything, cryptocurrency, you can pay as much as you want. Okay, I know it's still difficult. Let's go back a step. Imagine you go to a marketplace. You see the value of an item. It cost $1,000, but you don't know what that means. Now, with this equity value token, you could see, okay, it costs 1,000 equity value tokens. But what does that mean? That is okay, that is the price that the company is selling it for, but you can also next to it have the price recommended by the equity index. There will be a way of putting in the life hours, all the work put into it to give a recommended price to anything. See, it's still a free market. You can buy and sell whatever you like, but this app gives you a fair price, a balance point, an equity price. So now and if that is now visible, okay, you don't have to buy it at that price. But if you go to any market and you see, here's the price, $1,000, here's the recommended price based on a global calculation, a transparent, open sourced calculation of fairness, and that price is 500. Then you go back to the company and say, well, why are you charging 1,000? I can see it should be 500. Now the company must justify why it's more expensive. It cannot be, there's no hiding. At the moment, the market prices are distorted. They are deceptive. We don't know what they mean. So we have created the mathematics to see through the market prices, see through fiat currency. It reveals the distortion and the manipulation is happening. That's one level. But there's another level, which is the internal token that is completely separate. And that one is clean, easy to understand. That is straight up man hours or life hour value, something totally different. So there's three levels to this. Yet again, it's a big deal. That's why I had to write the book. But if you go to the website, you can see the app is working. The barcode scanner is not working yet, but you can still put in prices for anything. There's so much detail to it, and you can see the full white paper in there of the mathematics, how it works. And actually, if you can see here, in the middle here is the mathematics. The equity index, if you look right in the middle, EI is the equity index, and the equity index equals these two factors, P and F. P is a prosperity factor, and F is a friction factor. So we've looked at the world in a different way. We think there's two things going on. People are working for prosperity, we're trying to earn a living, but there's also friction. There's resistance to that happening. That again is corruption. Corruption is one of the frictions. And we can make an assessment of the balance between these two things to work out a balance point. And this is the equation that does it. And again, there's a whole long white paper explaining it. But suffice to say, there's serious, verifiable mathematics to this economic metric. We've never had such a thing before. And if I were to summarize it, this again is the holy grail of economics. It's a stable token economics. So far, we've never had that. We talk about the stable coin. In crypto, they talk about the stable coin, but that's just pegged to the dollar. The dollar's not stable. You know, just ask Karl. It's not stable. All right, let me go back to Karl. Karl, I'll go back to you.
Yeah, what we're going to do, Toby, is just take a quick 10-minute break, okay, so everyone can have a little rest for a moment, because there's a lot of information there, especially when we get into this level here, because this gets quite deep, and Toby punches at a higher level. So I always call Toby like my geeky team, right, because it's just mind-blowing stuff, right? And he doesn't mind being called that, because he is. I'm joking, I love you, you know I do, so we're going to take a quick 10-minute break, so everyone have a rest. Excellent. Welcome, everyone back from a nice little break there. We've been having a chat in the background. So if he wasn't in the room, you missed out on some fantastic questions. So we're now going to move on to the next part of tonight. Now, Toby, this could be a little bit confusing and quite deep. So just keep it very, very light on this.
I think
subject.
Skip this one, Karl. Go to the next one. We might.
Okay.
The thing I haven't talked about is ownership. How we secure assets. That one I might just talk through it. Yes, that's the one. Yeah, that one. Yeah. The last slide was still the Fair Price Oracle Index. I've introduced it, but that requires a long discussion. It's serious economics, mathematics. But it suffice to say, it's not just another, funny money coin. There's some serious thought behind it, and it can be backed up and explained, fully investigated, and so you can go into that. But now here's the thing. Okay, Entify, what I've been saying, this is a layer of trust built on identity. Because the cryptography is so good, the authenticity is so good, the security is so good, we can secure our own identity. That's how good it is. That's the most important thing we could possibly ever secure is our identity. But because we can do that, actually we can give an identity to everything. See, every single asset can also have an identity. See, we have a card, that is the cryptography that represents us, that's our link to the network. But any other item can have this same card. It's not really a card, it's a little hardware chip. So this picture here, you can see it's a gold bar and there's a car and they're all linked to the network. So this is how we can connect things like gold and real objects to the same network. So that car, for example, in the car, it would have the same chip. It has an identity. And the identity lives on the radio mesh. It lives in the reticulum DAG. So if that was my car, it would connect to my phone, to my card, to my identity. It would be proven to be mine. The only way I could ever sell that car or transfer ownership of the car, it would have to be through me, through a touch of my card, or through my autograph. There's no other way to get the car. And the car is a technology. Now we've got, a lot of electronics in a car. We build our own car in time, by the way. A sovereign car, not linked up to a network that is centralized. Now the cars are central networks. They control it. It's not your car. You don't really even control it. This one we control. The only person or the man or woman can drive it is the owner. You'd literally, your phone, you'd touch the phone to get into the car and drive it. There's no other way of driving it. No one could steal it. They'd have to steal your phone, but they'd have to steal your card and they'd have to steal your autograph. There's a lot to this. It doesn't work. So you would have secure assets. And again, same with gold. At the moment, we've got digital gold. We've got gold on the stock markets, paper gold, but it's not really connected to real gold. So we could still do trading with real gold on a global scale, but how would we do that? You see, if I actually had gold, so I had that gold, very gold bar, we would have a system of tagging the gold with the same chip, giving it an identity. You just imagine a Perspex box. You put the gold bar in the box, close the box, the chip is sealed, you scan the chip. Now that box may be kept at a safe vault somewhere, but again, this could be a community decentralized vault. Again, not a bank vault. We could have decentralized vaults everywhere, but that gold bar is sealed, closed, tamper-proof, and only you would be able to open it because you're the owner, you've got the card or the phone. No one else could access it. So if you've verified, the gold goes in, closes it, seals it, touch your phone. Now on your banking app, you've got 1 bar of gold, X number of gold tokens. Now we can do business with anyone. I'll send you gold. You would receive gold tokens. Again, that's real gold now. We've never had that. It's real gold digitized. There is now a connection between the real world and a digital network. We never had this before. So now imagine now you've got gold. You've done business in gold and you're looking at your wallet. Oh, I've nearly got 1,000 pieces of gold. 1,000 pieces of gold means a gold bar. So once you've reached 1,000 pieces of gold, again, you could go to a verified vault, community vault, and actually say there's some gold there ready to be taken. You can absorb that gold, you touch your phone, and now you can actually get a real gold bar. So that means the tokens would vanish on your phone. You wouldn't have them in your banking app anymore, but you'd have a real solid bar of gold. You can't have both, you see. Either you've got the gold or you've got the tokens. So this is where it's unbreakable and you can't cheat the game, like the banks are cheating the game of gold. There's no way of cheating in this system. Again, like you said, a car, no way of stealing the car because you're the only one that can access it, drive it. It's the same with a house. Again, you could have your house. The only way, again, we're talking about smart houses, but your key to your house could well be also your phone, a way in, but that's still minor. I'm talking about the deeds to your house, these sort of things. That can be controlled, held in a vault somewhere, accessed only by your phone, so you have evidence of ownership of your house. Now, the trouble is, okay, this is the technology of ownership. We've now got the technology for it, which we've never had before. But we still need the sovereign project knowledge. We still need true allodial title to have ownership. Here's the problem. If you go back to the beginning, we need verified identity. Well, we don't have that now. All we've got is what is called KYC, know your customer, government identity, name and address. It's meaningless. Some, numbers on a database. A real identity means this sovereign document, an affidavit, something that anyone anywhere would recognize in law with your autograph on it. Okay, that's real evidence of who you are and what you stand for. All right. Now you need the same thing of ownership. This is one of the reasons we found the Sovereign Project, because we knew that we could prove ownership of artwork. And we knew we could prove ownership of anything, a car. And then we discovered, well, how do I claim ownership of my car? It gets confusing because the car is registered to the DVLA. So it's not really my car, it's their car. So now I've actually got to get permission from the DVLA to create ownership for my car to connect to the digital system. Now it gets confusing, and it won't work. So this is why this system is a synergy. It's a living network as well as a digital network. The living network, we must provide all the consciousness evidence for things. So we would need a allodial title of your car. Then yes, you can have ownership and it appears in the network. You would need a allodial title of your house, and then yes, it would appear in the network. But here's some of the benefits. Okay, I still haven't fully described the benefits of being in the network, and they are phenomenal when you think about it. It truly is a guild system, a sovereign guild. The guilds looked after you in all ways. Again, you didn't think about money, you were looked after. So within this guild system, you have your identity and you have your assets. But your assets, say your house is worth, let's say, £1 million, whatever. But inside the network, it's in the network now, we can translate the value of your house into the tokens of the network. And again, that requires an assessment, but we've got the mathematics now to make the conversion. So let's just say your house is worth 1 million tokens in our network. So now you've got your house, it's proven to be yours, you own it, it's connected to your identity. No one has taken ownership of your house, but you can liquidate the value. So now, if you've got a house, you can choose on your bank, liquidate. Again, it would require verification, validation from the network, people to examine your house, value it, make sure we all agree, and then it can be done. But then it's just like going to the bank for a mortgage and you take out some money on your house against the house, but the bank would take your house for that. Here, you would still own your house, and then you would get the tokens for your house. So on one hand, you'd have full ownership of your property. On the other hand, you have the value of your property in tokens now in your wallet to spend within the network. It's the best of both worlds. And it only works because both things are tied inside the network. There's no way of cheating. You won't be able to do it twice, for example. You can only do it once. Now you can still sell and buy, sell your house or buy. Someone could buy your house, but if you've already liquidated the value, you've already had the money. It doesn't mean you'd get the money again. You can't necessarily get the money again. There's a complex structure to this. But what would happen is there would be. Okay, let me take one step back. Imagine you tokenized your house. It's worth 1 million tokens. So yes, you've got your house and you've got the tokens, the money to spend. You spend them in the network, they're all gone. Now you want to sell your house. So someone comes along to buy your house, it's worth 1 million tokens. Now just say they would pay 1 million. Well, you've already had the value of the house in tokens. You've spent them. So if they were to buy your house, you would actually get nothing because you've already had the money and spent it. So you wouldn't sell your house unless it might be worth more now. You've done some work on your house. The house is now worth 2 million. So now when you come to sell it, okay, it's worth 2 million. The equity has increased. So someone now will pay 2 million for your house. Then that's fine. You've already had 1 million and you've spent it, but you haven't had the 2nd million. So now you would transfer ownership of your house to the other person and they would pay you the 1 million. Well, you would only get the 1 million because the network would know. But the new owner must pay the 2 million because that's the value of the house. So where does the extra million go? Now this is where the economics is clever. The extra million goes into a pool, a storage place in the network itself. So that money is pooled up. And that pooled money will become an insurance pool. You say there will always be extra money created in the system because of this way it would work. Tokenizing assets, and then the value changes. So now the tokenization of assets changes. But in order for fairness, we're keeping track of the real value. There's no cheating involved. But in this situation, the new owner pays 2 million. You've already had one and spent it. You could only get another one. Where does the other one go? It doesn't go to the bank. There's no bank. It goes to the network. And that money is then used for insurance, which means tokenized assets inside the network would have free insurance. Again, long-term goal. And again, it's a deep reason for this. It's not arbitrary. It's because the money, the token we're using, is created from a real asset. If I take my house, it's a real value. We know it's worth something. We've converted it into a token. That token represents the value. Now that token, we spent it, it's out in circulation. If the house burns down, now the tokens that came from the house are still in circulation. But if you think about it, they're not connected to anything of real value anymore. This is the big problem we've got with money. The money is not actually connected to an asset. It's not connected to a life. It's meaningless. That's why the money gets devalued. So in this network, we can't have that. If the house burns down and the tokens are still in circulation, it's in the interest of everyone. It's in the interest of maintaining the true value of the token to rebuild the house. So the network itself, in order to maintain the stability, the stable value of the token, would then invest to rebuild the house for you. It's still your house. You live there, you own it, you've tokenized it, you've had your money, it's burnt down, you issue it to the network, okay, insurance claim, come in and check it out, yes, valid claim, we rebuild it for you at no expense to you. One of the benefits in the network. But remember, again, it's hard to understand, but the network is so powerful that it's virtually impossible for criminals to do anything. So we'll actually have very little insurance fraud. Insurance fraud wouldn't work because it's still a living network. Still people have to come, validate, investigate, check the value, work it all out, and then it has to be put to the network, and the network has to, agree, and then it happens. But in principle, it's a real problem. Insurance is one of the big problems in the economy. In this one, it would be very simple, very clean. We don't even have to think about insurance because it will be free inside the network. And the same with investment. Gaining, if you want to do business, you've got no money. Now you go to a bank, ask for a loan. Now you've got to pay the bank interest, all this problem inside the network. Remember, we're all sovereigns, we're all trustworthy, we all believe in each other, we're all on the same path. And the architecture ensures that. Remember, if one bad actor happens, just say I sell a bad product to someone, it's done through the phone, through the network. They know exactly who it was. Toby sent me a bad product. I put a bad rating. It'd be on me. Anyone who deals with me, you'll see, complaint about Toby, sold a bad product. I'd want that removed. I'd have to apologize. Sorry, let me fix it. All right, remove it. No criminal would last long in the system. So again, we have to imagine this. But then in that case, again, I have a project. I want to build myself a house, but I got no money. I come up with a plan. Instead of going to the bank, I go to the network. I want to build myself a house. It's going to cost me 1 million tokens to build the house. But here's the full plan. I believe it could be done. The plan is evaluated, again, by a decentralized network. Various people, they could be anywhere. This communication happens in a decentralized way. The plan is evaluated, given a vote. Yes, that's good, that's good, that's good. A certain number of votes agree. Boom. The money is created by the network and given to you. It's not a loan. The money represents value. You have proven I'm going to create value. A house, even though it's my house to live in, the house will be inside the network, and that's a long-term value for everyone. Someone else might live in that house later. And we agree, yes, that is worth that. Here's your money, go build the house. So now you must use the money to build the house, and at the end you must prove it. Again, the same people, you must validate. House is now complete. It must be signed off. Validators come check it. Once you've got the signature, boom, it's done. Now, in a way, your network credit is signed off, and that then seals it, and then you can do it again. The network won't let you do it again until you've proven you're trustworthy. You've done it once. Yes, they've done it. Okay, do it again. But there's no loan. It's entirely sovereign. It's a genuine system. So this gives you an idea of the power of what we could do inside our own economy. But remember, of course, this only works when it's big enough. We have builders, plumbers, doctors, teachers, greengrocers, farmers, everyone inside the system, and they're all using our own money. It's not money, it's a value token. And once we got that going, then there's enough people that can be paid with this token. See, we can't print dollars, put it that way, but we can create LHV tokens. That we can do. So it only works when LHV tokens are being used, or whatever tokens we decide to use in the end. But that's the one I think, LHV. Just to give you an idea.
So what we need to do within the network, just so everyone's aware, is increase our business directory. Now I've got access to lots of trade people, and they're all listening. Okay, they're all listening. They want to be involved. So it's very, very exciting. So I've got a list of about 60 different trades all across the country that want to get involved in this stuff. I'm just trying to get them into the bloody business directory so it's easier for me to manage them. Anyway, I just got a quick question before we move on, Toby. Let's say, right, the house burns down and the network comes together to build a house for you. Let's just say, right, I'm really lazy and I need to paint and decorate my house, and I can't be bothered to paint and decorate my house, so I burn it down.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Remember, there will be investigation. Everything's still, if you imagine the world we've got now, if you want to buy and sell a house, you've got to go to an estate agent, it's got to be valued, surveyed, all that still has to happen. And again, if you have an insurance claim and a big one, it has to be investigated, looked into. All of that will have to happen, but it will happen in a decentralized way. There's no manipulation. It will be arbitrary selections. The call goes out to the network will send it out to verified validators, but they could be anywhere. Some of them have to actually come and see. So you still have to, it's still a human network, a living network. It's not purely digital. Again, this is what's so hard to understand. People that don't like the digital network, they want to go back to the old ways, hand to hand. Yes, this is hand to hand. Man to woman, man to man, all of this, it is hand to hand, but at the same time, it's digital. So when you've got these two things happening together, that's what makes it so powerful. So, and like I said, what you will find is criminals don't join it. The people that join it are people that understand what this is doing. And the very way the money works is to build and increase value. So it just won't work like that. The incentives will change. At the moment, that's how it works. We burn down the house to make a quick buck, but we're not after a quick buck now. But what we would do is this: we would buy a house and or build ourselves a house. We might get a loan to build it, but then after building it, we want to increase its value. So we'll keep on going. I want to make this house last longer. Okay, let me give you another thought. At the moment, the house prices go up because the value of dollars is going down. If the value of dollars doesn't change, the value of your house won't change. Remember, a stable economy, if your house cost 1 million life hour tokens to build, because that's how many hours it took today, 50 years from now, it will still be worth the same tokens. It won't have changed in value. Property won't be for speculation. Again, it's a different game. The only way your house would increase in value for you to make a profit would be for one, you must maintain it, because if you don't look after your house, when you come to sell it, it will be valued again. And if it's gone downhill, fallen apart, well, the value will go down because now someone else has got to fix it. If you want the value of your house to go up, you would have had to improve it. Oh, I built a swimming pool. Oh, I built a big garden. Now come back and have a look at my house and tell me what it's worth. Oh, yeah, okay, that's worth a lot more. And don't forget, it's still a free market. It's still a free market. You get the valuation of say, 2 million tokens. but you can put it on the market for 3 million. However, the market is transparent. The valuation will be there. So if someone comes to say you want 3 million, the valuation is 2. Why do you want 3? Now you have to justify it. And again, between the two of you, you might still agree, all right, I want it, I think it's worth 3 million. I agree, I'll have it. Now you've increased the value of the property to 3 million just with this personal interaction. But it's not arbitrary speculation. It's not because of the fluctuations of the market. It's not because of the devaluation of currency. It's because of the nature and the stability of life and work as the value system. It's a stable economy. I tell you, we cannot imagine what a stable economy would be like. It's so alien to us now. That's the way it would work. And again, what we would see, I believe, the moment we get to the level where there's free insurance, there will be very few insurance claims. No one will claim much because by that time, everyone is looking after their stuff. Already their mentality has changed. They're looking now to build, to grow, to sustain what we've got. We value what we've got. It's not a disposable society anymore. We can't just burn it down, oh, wait till next year, the house would have gone up because the dollar went down. That's an illusion. Yeah, you've got more dollars for your house, but the dollar is worth less. So really, you haven't got any more for your house in terms of spending power. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It's very complex in terms of learning about the monetary system, how that kind of works, and how we bring that into the economy to show that it's fair. People will have to learn that over time.
Yes.
And the more time they spend with us, the more they're going to learn it, which is great, which is why I should go to the Sovereign Conference.
Correct.
Which is amazing. Now,
yeah, I'll be there as well. The Sovereign Conference. If anyone are asking, I hope to have some technology by the Sovereign Conference. That's what I'm aiming for. So I hope to show some cards at least by then, something we can demonstrate. So, yeah, get your tickets. That's going to be one exciting, serious conference. Oh, yeah, the next bit. Okay, Karl, I'll let you take over this bit now. You explain this bit.
Yeah, no worries.
I'll mute.
So what we're going to do is just very, very simply walk you through what this is going to look like. Now, hopefully everyone in this room has got an understanding of what the difference between the public jurisdiction and the private jurisdiction. Okay, so in the public jurisdiction, you own nothing. You've registered, you accept the legal title, you're in their system, not the physical body, but the legal title. The system controls the legal title, they control you. Okay, now what we're going to do, this is you. This is very, very simple to understand. Then we have the bank, and then we have retail, or your job. So it's should we say a circular economy? You deal with the bank deals with the retail company deals with the bank to get money to expand their business. You work in retail, whatever sector it is, and you get paid. Okay, it just keeps going around in loops. We have to break that. So how do we buddy hop into the private? What's the magic way? Now, I want to keep this very, very simple. So we're going to say there's a limited company here. It's a very special limited company that's in a very special location on the planet, not necessarily in the UK. Okay, now we will interact. So for me, I'm a landlord, I'm a property investor. So my tenants won't pay me no more in my bank account. They will pay into this, should we call it a limited company for now? Okay, now at the back end of this, they will then have their own coding, and any funds that go into that company will go to my private finance account. You cannot call it a bank account in the private. Can't do that. It's a finance account. Okay. Now that finance account, of course, is linked to your decentralized mobile phone, for example, and then you can interact with your finance account between you and the mobile phone. You can keep an eye on it. Now, this is the clever part. We have our own economy that's building in the private jurisdiction. This is why we've been building infrastructure at the Sovereign Project. We have the business directory. It's got healthcare professionals in there, shall we say, 61 of them. It's got all types of businesses in there, even home educational platforms. Some of you in the room might understand what that means. That's homeschooling. But we can't use the word schooling because that's national curriculum. That's part of their system. So it's home educational platforms. We work with Black's Academy, and fantastic guy. And we also work with another one as well called Yorkshire Minds up in Yorkshire, and they also deal with the Tiny Tots as well. And they're building an online platform to get kids from a young age to learn about sovereignty and the sovereign mindset, which is amazing. We've got gold bullion suppliers. We've got trust specialists. We're dealing with farmers, not just on my Zoom call, but across the the country as well. We've got our events and the conference, we've got global workshops, we've got Pete Stone's courses, we've got the Sovereign Wiki. We're showing people how to, we will be in course 4, showing people how to start to go through the process of creating your estate, house and name, and a laurial title operating in the private. And of course, we've also got a notary public as well. So we've got lots and lots of infrastructure in that economy. So those business owners and other people, we will trade with them using our sovereign phone and our finance account into that economy. Now, each business or any other woman or man or woman will have their own finance account. So again, it's that circular economy. We trade in our own economy. But hang on a minute. Let's say, right, you want to take the wife somewhere, okay? Or flip the script. The wife wants to take the husband somewhere, right? And you want to trade in the playground of the public jurisdiction. How are we going to do it? How are we going to trade? Because when we move to, should we say, central bank digital currency, I don't want to be involved in that. I don't want them to track and trace me. And that's why I believe they've got 2 parts to it, right? Retail and wholesale. So what we can do here is we can trade in their public jurisdiction and their playground, but they won't see us. Why? Because what will happen is if I want to buy something at the grocery store that's nothing to do with the sovereign project or our economy, how are we going to do it? This is how we do it. So the mobile phone, our sovereign mobile phone, will transact with the business and the public, but it will go through the limited company first. The limited company will then transact with the retail company or the hotel or whoever it is you want to trade with. So they get their currency in whatever it is, but they won't see you. You won't be tracked or traced. This is a beautiful part of it. And I've simplified it. It's a lot more detailed than this. We can't really talk about too much about the limited companies. It's quite secretive at the moment on the location of it and where it's going to be. But this is the thing, right? And this is what I've seen. Most people are scared of the remedy. Okay? They're more scared of the remedy than they are the problem. So it's now about the coping mechanisms within your own mindset to be able to truly operate from the public jurisdiction where you've been mollycoddled by the system, shall we say, not really looked after, but you know what I mean. You're dependent on the system for food and all sorts of stuff, your pensions and going to work, and you've just been molded around this bloody horrible system. And when you start peeling back that system to see what actually goes on, it's quite a disgusting system, right? But it's now adopting to it. We've got all the technology here now, and Toby's created it all for us to adopt to this. The Sovereign Project have done the legal law and contract law side of it. Pete Stone's mind is just phenomenal, the energy this guy has and how he's researched it, and he's delivering it on a plate. However, Pete Stone can't save you. You have to save yourself. Mindset, knowledge, networking, your net worth. Your network is your net worth, okay? So it's up to you if you want to adopt to it or not. It's up to you. It's your choice. It's your choice. So what we're going to do now, we've been going off about just over two and a quarter hours, about right. So what we're going to do now is move to some questions. So I'm going to shut down the presentation, open it all up, and we'll have some conversation to see how everyone feels about this. Be fantastic. Have a good chat.
I've got a few questions. Can I start with those?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. From Tony, will Billy Bob be able to get his pension paid into the ENTIFY account?
Yes, yeah. I mean, well, you basically you've got to pay it into the account of the limited company. So I'm imagining you can just tell them where to pay the money. So if they pay it into the limited company, it's not quite the same as a normal limited company. And actually, I should say also, Karl, just for people who are worried, I think in the long term, it won't even be just one. It'll be multiple bank accounts with multiple companies. So we've got very good security spread it out. So then, yes, it's like you instead of paying the money to your name, you say, well, pay the money to this account in this name to this company. And when it goes to that company, the limited company, ENTIFY, let's just say it's ENTIFY Limited. Let's just say ENTIFY Limited. Then ENTIFY Limited will also know, because you're doing it through them, it will know that's your money, and that will then transfer into your private account, which is to your identity within the network. So the answer is yes. I would say yes. We should be able to solve every single problem. I've been working on every problem I can imagine, And I think now, yes, every single one is solved. Um, so yes, I would say yes. Yeah. But
Thank
again,
you.
down the line, we have to get there first. Yeah, down the
Okay,
line.
we've got a question from Leander, who is pinned, if anybody can see her. What happens if you lose your card? What happens when you die? How would the kids get the access? What is the EMF situ with the sovereign phones?
Well, again, that can all be set up in advance. Once you've set up your cards, you can integrate your connection to your children. Yes, I confirm that's my son, that's my daughter. The cards now become linked together. So that means if the son or the daughter, if they die, the son or the daughter can record, yes, my mother or father died suddenly. Now I'm activating the card and taking over from their estate. That could, you can make these agreements with each other. It's like blockchain. You have contracts in blockchain. You can create all the contracts. It'd be the same here. You set up whatever contract you want, and then it will just instigate afterwards. Now, if you lose your card, like I said, I think we get 2 cards for safety to make this ever so simple, because you must have 1 card at least. Some item you must have to maintain the connection to a physical identity. But like I said, in the worst case scenario, you lose 2 cards and the phone. I think there will still be a way in, but now you have to go to other people who have got cards and re-establish all your connections, and they must confirm your identity. Rather than like if you lose your identity, you have to email in to the company, don't you? I lost my password. Okay, who are you? We do it again. There'd be no company to do that. It goes into the network, and the network has to do it for you. But in practice, 2 cards. So if you lose one, immediately you must order a second one. So you've always got 2 just for safety. So that means you keep one locked away in a safe somewhere, maybe in someone else's house. That gives you ultimate security. The second one you keep safe, and then you've got the phone. So you've always got 3 devices with your identity, and they're all safe. So should you ever lose one, immediately get another one. And that I think should be safe. That's the biggest hurdle we've got, is just getting into your head that your identity now is connected to a physical thing. We've sort of let go of that. All I need is to remember my password. It's not remembering your password now, it's remembering your key. Just like your key to your house. Imagine you've only got 1 key to your house. Usually you've got 2 keys. You leave one with the neighbor just in case. Same sort of principle. But now this is a sovereign key. So it's going back to the old ways, but in the
Love
new
it.
ways. It's very interesting. Anyway, does that make sense, Jeanette?
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you very much. That covers off if I die, how do the kids get access to it?
yeah,
And what happens if you lose the card? So thank you very much. EMF radiation on current phones is horrific. My
mm.
friend does have a solution over here that's proven to work rather than
Ah,
just little things you buy on, eBay. This is absolutely proven. And I did wonder, I'll put Diana in touch with you, Toby, if you
yes,
haven't got,
yeah,
because she has got the solution to that. EMF in your pocket, boys, isn't good, blah, blah, blah. We're
yes,
learning every day. I'll put Diana in touch with Karl.
Yes.
brilliant. And I should say, by the way, uh, down the line, again, I know all about this. If we're building a phone, when we get to the stage where we build our own phone from scratch, I think we build the frequencies all different.
Yeah.
Now, the radio mesh, again, of course, it works on any phone, that would be 5G or 4G, but the radio mesh right now is in the megahertz, not gigahertz. So if by the time we've even got just radio mesh, that's already come way down. It's already a lot safer. It's not it's not microwaves anymore. It's still in radio waves. So that already makes a big difference. But
Amazing. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. So, but that's in hand. I want to build a safe phone. Even
Yeah.
the screen won't be blue screen, be red screen. Everything in there should be organic. Now, again, just a quick aside, but I do also believe if you get the frequencies right, it would actually be healing. If the
She's
frequencies
already
are wrong,
done it.
it's
She's got it. She's got
yeah.
it.
I'm curious. Yeah, please do. Please
Yeah.
do let me know.
Yeah.
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 Thank
That's
you.
really exciting. Thank you
Yeah.
very much. Thank you for everything you're doing. And
Thank
Karl and
you.
Jeanette, amazing. Thank you so much.
No worries. Cool. So we go to the next question. So we go to Michelle. Take yourself off mute. Great, you're in.
Hi, Karl. Hi, Toby. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I'm in Canada, and the Volo phone, I understand, is made in Germany.
Yeah.
And then you're talking about like the radio wave mesh network, but in Canada, you know how everything's restricted, what radio frequencies and stuff you
Mm.
can use. How does that affect someone like me being a part of that?
Well, okay, that's a very, very good question. That's right. Now, the system, okay, there's two things going on. We got a radio mesh built into the phone, but Nicholas is already building radio mesh routers. They've already got a router system that you can plug into your computer, plug into your phone, so you can already run the radio mesh on anything. And it will have, I think, variation, multiple frequencies. So in theory, well, not in theory, in practice, any small community anywhere could already set up a little radio mesh network, and you can all talk to each other for free in the middle of a forest. You know, it doesn't even matter where it is, because the mesh connects everything together within a certain radius. You know, it doesn't reach infinite, but Nicholas is a very clever guy. He's built the most advanced radio mesh router in the world today. It's quite a phenomenal piece of equipment, and that's the piece of equipment we're going to put into the phone. But yes, different places have got limitation on frequencies. I know he's got the frequencies for this country, so there may be some variation, but we can modulate the frequencies. We can change them, so there will be a way that you could find the frequencies you'd be allowed to use. And it's more exciting than that, because okay, radio mesh, people can still trace you, track you, find your location. We know that in smartphones. You see it in the movie, they triangulate, oh, a smartphone is there. Can't even trace us, because we got a system in the radio mesh where the frequencies might change regularly. So they catch your phone, he's over there. Oh, the frequency's gone, he's vanished. Where is he? He's gone. So we would actually not only be invisible in all different levels, we would be invisible even to triangulation outside the system, but the network itself would know. The network would know, so we could actually locate anyone. If you're in danger somewhere, you could send out a signal, and the nearest people in the network, oh, a sovereign person is over there in danger. Where are they? 100 meters to the left, and you just go over and help them. Again, we'd have incredible personal security system built from this. There's so many things we could do. But this is
So,
all. Sorry, go.
no, I was involved with a group of people that were doing that mesh-tastic mesh kind of network just in town, and
Yeah,
you had to be really close to the nodes.
yeah.
Um, but what yours speaking about, like it won't work the distance of an ocean, right? So I won't be able
No,
to connect with the network in the UK or Germany
no.
or Australia. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes, but okay. But here's the thing. This is where we're cleverer than all of these guys. Once we got the phone, we will have both a SIM card and a radio mesh. There has to be an intermediate stage. So if the radio mesh works and there's someone nearby or enough people to hop to your message, fine, it will go for the radio mesh. If it's not, then it will jump onto the SIM card and go through the Wi-Fi or the internet or the the SIM card. So, for example, let's say you build your network in the forest, you can all
Yeah.
communicate to each other, but how do you get to the outside world? Well, at some point, someone has to have an internet connection. So maybe you set up hops through the forest to a point with an internet connection. That's you only need one, and then it hops through the forest. You're in the forest, but you'll get to the internet connection, and then it will go through the internet. It doesn't matter, because the network program can run on anything. Reticulum runs on the radio mesh, the internet, the SIM card, anything at all, and still remains private. It doesn't work in
Now,
the same.
I
Yeah,
think I understand what you're saying now. Another question about the SIM card is
yeah,
because everything is so controlled.
yeah.
Um, like if I try to get a SIM card here, it might not be able to connect. I don't understand. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I
Yes,
won't
yeah, and
be able to have it. It won't be allowed.
yes. Now, SIM card is still a problem, because you've got an identity. They connect to you through the SIM card, name and address, all that payments go to the SIM card. SIM card, we're doing a lot of research into it. And again, to find a true privacy SIM card, maybe even create one. But again, there's a lot to this to discuss. But in a way, again, in the long term, this doesn't matter because of the very same system that Karl was just talking about. We have essentially a limited company as the interface. Now, the limited company can have a bank account, but we have a finance account. And the limited company allows us to interact with the bank without being anonymous. But this limited company could also buy SIM cards. So the SIM cards belong to the company, don't belong to you, but then we give you a SIM card. So you have a SIM card in the network, but it's not your name, it's the company's SIM card. So now that again fixes the problem. So there are other solutions to this. Yeah, but this is down the line. We looked at every solution. Even got to the level of getting a Google account. You know, we need to have Google for many things. I need it for YouTube and all this. How do I get a Google account without my name? Same way. The system can buy a certain amount of Google accounts and then allocate them to us. So you have a Google account, but it doesn't connect to your name and address. You're still private. Interesting. There's a lot we can do, but this is the bridging system. It's not this central system is what I've been talking about. Let's build that. But I just want people to know that this can work. But there is a way we can bridge to what we've got because we need it still. But in the long term, that will just fall away. We don't need the banks anymore. Then the banks die. We haven't destroyed the banks. We've used them. They like us because we use the bank. But they don't realize in the long term, we don't need them anymore and they just fizzle out. That's the dream. That's the dream. Let's see.
Okay,
I really appreciate everything that you're doing. This is like so important and kind of ties up trying to be free. Can I just ask one more quick question?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. It was just about the limited company that connects the private to the public.
Yeah.
That's something that's where you need permission from the government, I think, because there's that connection. And am I correct? And
yes,
you have to be on the right terms to make that connection.
Yeah, that's right. It's not quite a normal limited company. It's a digital limited company. I think I can tell them what it is, Karl. I just say it's called a DAO, decentralized autonomous organization. But I won't tell you more details about that. But you can look up DAO, DAO. Many people have got them. But there is only a few places that can actually allow that to become a company, a limited company. Mostly it's not. But then that's not a limited company like normal ones. Here's the director, here's the secretary. No, you're all inside it, but they accept digital as a digital entity in its own right. So again, this is in the pipeline. This takes a little bit longer, but this is the main bridge, and there is a way. That's the most important thing to understand. There is a way to do what Karl just described, but it's not quite a straightforward limited company. It's a DAO, but not just a DAO limited, a DAO LLC, limited corporation.
That makes sense. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There's lots of different structures out there that most people aren't aware of. So we've done the digging. Well, not me, but Toby and the team have done the digging on that one. So what we're going to do now, thank you very much, Michelle, and we're going to go to Lady Sunshine. Do do do. Love that name.
Yes.
Far away.
Good on you, Karl. You know, I got that nickname because everybody always nicknamed me Sunshine since I was born, and they all think they're original.
Nice.
Now, my question is, does the card, your ID card, does the card know who is holding it? So you're sure you're going to hold the card? You've got to tap the card?
No, correct. That's why there's two layers. That's why there's two layers. The biometric autograph. There's two layers to this. Okay. So that again, remember we need multiple layers. It's same like two-factor authentication, but the biometric each card is completely unique. The keys are on the card only. There's no way of getting the key off the card, so the card is secure. But that's right. How do we know someone doesn't steal your card and your phone and touch the card, get in? That's right, but then there's another layer. Still, you need the autograph. There'll still be other things in there. We will still use, standard biometrics. We can still use different layers within it, depending on the security. So again, imagine what we've got. We use some of that and we take it up to the next level. But let's say the ultimate level to get into a vault where you've got community gold of 10 million. Well, you know, we need 3 people to get into the vault. They need their code, their card, their phone, and their autograph. You know, you'd go to the phone, touch the phone. Who are you? Do the autograph. Touch again. Yes. Okay, you can come in. Next one does it. Next one does it. So you'd layer it up, and then you get in. But once you've done that, it's way beyond anything we've seen before. Or they'd have to make the movies again because you couldn't break the system. You know, now they just pull out your eyeball, put it there, cut your finger off. None of that will work. There's no heist that would work like this.
My
You can't even fake the door, get a fake door, use a real card, because the system, the signal between the card and the door is unique each time and measured. So if you touch the card somewhere to open a door somewhere else, it would recognize the distance in time of the signal, and then no, it's not. No, something gone wrong. Won't allow it. Once this is
my
up and running, then all the movies won't work. You'll have to make new movies. Have to make movies about a better world. Yeah, not a worse world, a better world. Never, they don't make movies about a better world. Come on, let's do some of those. Yeah.
So I also saw that it can tell if you're under duress or there's a gun held to your head. My
Yeah.
son's question said, "What if you're in a car accident, bleeding out, trying to call, an ambulance? Is it going to recognize that you're not under duress? Your legs chopped off in a car accident?"
Yeah, no, okay. We could set up all sorts of protocols for this. That's right. I mean, let's be real here. Mostly you won't have to sign your autograph to get into your phone. Mostly it will be the simple things we got. It's good enough. Thumbprint, fingerprint. But we could still layer it up. You know, you need a thumb and a finger, and we don't know, which one it is, so we can actually change it up a bit. But yeah, let's say something like that. They can all be built in, emergency situations. The phone itself might emit a signal. Don't forget, on the radio mesh, you can have emergency alert, car accidents. The car is on the mesh. People around will know, car accident. Where is it? 100 yards away. Oh, someone in the system, and they'll just go and have a look quickly. You get a bit, faster response than you get now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but don't forget, we're talking about a digital system. So all the fancy things that people are doing now, yeah, we'll be able to do all those things, but with a layer of security they don't have. It's all about layering it up and building in the protocols at each stage. So the answer is yes, yes. Don't worry about it. There will be a way, but we're talking about such a big system, and we're in years to come to build all these bits to it. Right now, this is the beginning, only the beginning of the beginning. Um, so you guys really are the first people to see the beginning of something that could change history. I mean, I saw it a while ago, but I can't believe how fast we got here. Yeah, let's see.
I'm at the beginning of things.
Yes.
So this is excellent. Thank you very much. And we're looking forward to lap phones soon.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for being awesome.
No worries.
Thank you. Likewise. You're all awesome. Yeah.
We are pushing
Thanks,
very
mate.
hard to make this happen as quick as possible. But the more we get from you guys, the more engagement we get from you guys, then the quicker things bloody well happen, right? Because there's an element of knowing that you guys want it. You want to be in the private. For me, I'm there. Absolutely there. So anyway, if anyone's got any more questions, whack your hand up and we will answer those questions.
I've got
Christos.
I've got one quick question.
Yes.
From my list I collected. Phil Batchers asked, question, how do we operate from the public to private to public?
Okay, well, when we pay for something.
Not sure. That was
I know what he means. I know what he means. It's like, okay, I want to, you and me, Jeanette, we're both in the private, but I want to send you some dollars. So I've got to go to the public to get the dollars, and the dollars go sent to you. Well, again, it'd be literally the same thing. The dollars go to the limited company. The limited company has got dollars, and the limited company will just transfer dollars to your account. It's actually quite simple. I mean, to break it down, it sounds complicated, but what you will have is just an app on your phone, and you'll have dollars, pounds, gold, gold-backed notes, and the ENTIFY life hour value token. All of these things, whatever you want, could be on there. So quite literally, if I want to sell you dollars, I just send you dollars. You won't see how it happens. What we have is just a token of dollars, so we can use dollars between each other, just a token of dollars. But when we want to use dollars outside, that token dollars has to be converted into bank dollars. So I can send you token dollars. That's like public money, but it's not. It's still private money in between us. But then you have token dollars that you can spend in a shop, because when you spend it in a shop, it will go through the limited company. We have vouchers. We have money vouchers, dollar vouchers. They're not dollars. They're vouchers for dollars. So when you spend your dollars in a shop, you're not really doing commerce. You're redeeming a voucher. We're outside the system. So you go to a shop, you're spending a dollar voucher. You're not spending a dollar, but the shop don't know that. They don't even know they're redeeming a voucher, because you're not redeeming it with the shop. You're redeeming the voucher with ENTIFY Limited. It's actually quite clever, beautifully simple, but I think foolproof. This is clean, and nobody can complain about it. Nothing illegal. They can't shut it down. All can be open, examined. And don't forget, all of this stuff is zero knowledge. I haven't fully said that. All the interactions are recorded, but they're recorded in cryptography. So if anyone breaks into the limited company and searches through, there's nothing to find. You're still anonymous. No one will know your name. It's all cryptographic. So the government could come and have a look, go through your records. Yes, yeah, look at it all. You'll just see just garbled nothing. There's nothing to work out. They'll never find anything. Doesn't matter if they hack it. You can't use it. There's nothing to understand. It's all cryptographic.
It's completely private.
It's completely private, yeah. It's just like we're using the system, but we're completely invisible to the system. It's the Holy Grail, yeah.
We are completely private, people. This is what it's all about, okay?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to the next question. So we got Christos. Ask to unmute when you're ready, my friend. Now, Christos normally has good, strong questions, because he questions me sometimes in a few webinars. So let's see what he's got.
Well, I've got questions, but I also have 3 minutes of notes. Because I've actually read them out myself and I've timed it. So what would I be able to read the notes, or do you prefer me to just have the question?
Far away, my friend. Far away.
All right.
Yeah,
So the notes are, people may not like this. 80% of people are good, so we are trying to handle the 20%. Those who are not, those who are out to control or destroy, and so on. The ENTIFY card seems to be removing our ability to discern and places that discernment outside of ourselves. Back in the day, let's say in the Middle Ages, a letter of protection would be given to someone traveling on behalf of the king, for example. The letter would have a seal in wax and be signed. This form of safe passage was recognized nearly everywhere. So it was known as a way of proving one's right to do something. Now, the system has so corrupted our ability to discern that we are turning to something outside of ourselves to prove our identity. This card and the ENTIFY way of doing things, the way I see it, takes that disconnect to an extreme. Now we have a situation where it's becoming unacceptable to say my name is, for example, Joe Bloggs, because now there is this undercurrent of prove it. Having an ENTIFY card will make people discount someone saying I'm Joe Bloggs, because if he doesn't have the card, that man, Joe Bloggs, may not be believed. What this will do is create a system where if you don't have an ENTIFY card to participate in something, one will not be able to do so. You are enforcing identity, which can go against people's beliefs, religious or otherwise, to have ownership of something that someone, for example, has created. To have to prove one's own creation is based on distrust, the opposite of what is trying to be promoted here, which is trust. In the end, ENTIFY is someone's viewpoint on how to move forward in a system that is full of corruption, fraud, and dishonor. Having to do to earn is still based on lack. Abundance comes from just being there without having to do anything. If there was one individual in the world, he or she would have the whole world at their feet, and whether they'd survive will depend on his or her understanding of how to survive. Food would be abundant, whether it's fruit, meat, or grain, so he or she wouldn't starve. There would be tons of space, so having a place to shelter would not be a problem. So he or she is valuable to him or herself. When there are many people in the world, people would not be able to do as much because now survival depends on doing stuff for others because we have been led to believe that we have to work a job to survive. So that mindset has now translated, in what I see, into the ENTIFY system. The card should start with an amount not with zero, but with something like 300 million tokens or dollars or whatever the store of value that would be issued. I believe that the Oracle valuation system is dangerous because the correct business markup is 5 times the cost. On a created work, there is no comparison as the value should be left up to the artist or creator and the buyer should, since these are unique works. Just because a product takes 2 hours to make doesn't mean that the value is 2 hours worth of work. What about the 40 years learning how to make that product in 2 hours?
No, I understand exactly what you're saying. Okay, slight misunderstanding here. Remember, one thing, this is still a completely free market. The token is still free. You charge whatever you want, do whatever you want with it. The fair price oracle is simply an analysis, a recommendation, a show what, okay, that is the universal price that we calculate based on this mathematics. Do what what you like. Now the next question is, okay, I understand what you're saying about the card, and are we actually doing doing something worse to take away people's freedom and opportunity than what we've got right now? And the question I would ask you is, what do you suggest? You see, we can't. The problem we have got is I agree entirely. We want this absolute freedom. We should be free to do what we like. Now, I would argue that this would still provide a level of abundance that you're talking about in a practical way. It would lead to the point where food and water, I believe, would just become free. I don't think we should even pay for this stuff. Life-supporting things. How did that become commercial? That makes no sense to me. I believe in the old days, water was free, even food would have been free. This is the guild system. But that is not being coerced. There's nobody forcing you, nobody telling you anything. It just comes from the internal feeling of sharing and enjoying life. That's the whole point of the guild system. You live the life you want because you love to create these things. But life is so good, there's a method of supporting you for doing the things you love, and the things you love support everyone else. If you don't love to do that, you go and do something else. Nobody's forcing you. Again, I do understand what you're saying, but it's not creating an identity. It's not even creating ownership. It is simply giving you a way. It's giving you a way to demonstrate it without any question. See, if you created an artwork and you create the artwork, it goes on your card. Nobody can say, "Well, I did it. That's mine." Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're going to have a long argument. I did it. No, you didn't. I did it. No, I didn't. I did it, and I created it. I put it on my card right away. There's the evidence for it. I mean, it's the whole problem we've got with property. The house is yours. No, it belongs to the land registry. No, it's mine. It's theirs. So how do we fix that problem? This is the only way to fix it. But it doesn't come from an artificial beginning. It comes from a natural beginning. And there's nothing enforced. There's nothing enforced.
Great question and a great answer.
You asked a few minutes earlier, what do I have as a solution, or whatever the question was. I actually came up with a card, not as exact as yours, but similar in concept in 2009.
Yes.
And I call it the Universal Exchange Card. And
Yes.
It looks like a credit card. It has a little calculator on the front, window where you can see the figures, and you've got two ends.
Mm.
One is the buy end, one is the sell end, and you just tap whichever end you want to the other card if you're buying or selling. And then
It's
you've
exactly
got
the system. The card we are making will have a screen on it. It can have a screen on it. There's literally very, very similar. Okay, is Karl in touch with you? Let's have a proper phone call. Yeah,
Yes, and I do need to talk to Karl, but that'll be
yeah,
private. So if you can
yeah,
get in touch with me, that would be great.
yeah. Let's have a proper chat. I
Make that
think
happen.
I'll be very curious to hear your ideas, get your feedback. Yeah, thank you.
No worries.
You're
I
welcome.
told you he's got a good question.
Yes.
Right, moving on. Let's go back to Gail. Cheers, Christos. Good stuff, mate.
Thank you.
Hi. Well, firstly, I'd like to say I'm fascinated and I think you're fantastic. And I think everything
Me or
you said,
Toby?
both of you, well,
Oh, good.
Toby particularly, but you as well.
Oh, so Toby's better than me. Oh,
Well,
okay.
you know, I resonate with everything Toby says, I have to say, and I've been banging a drum for a while.
Oh,
But my
thank you.
question is, you know, we talked about how the system works for product. I'm, for example, an energy healer. I do frequency healing. So how would it work with services? That's my question.
Ah, okay. Well, it's the same way you might imagine. You can literally choose. It depends who you're dealing with. You see, if you're dealing with people in the network, they come for your services. They can pay you with the network token.
Mm.
If you're dealing with outside people, they'll pay you with dollars or pounds, and then it will go through the limited company and still end up on your phone.
So
It,
how do
it,
we set up in the limited company? How do we
well,
become
you don't have to set it up. No, no, you don't.
right?
Once you're in ENTIFY, you become part of the system, the DAO. It's called
Right.
a DAO, decentralized autonomous organization,
Okay.
that has its own internal structure. That's us. That's the sovereign guild. And the limited company is just the method of um, getting the dollars and turning them into getting them inside our network without it going to your name.
So
It's
the
literally just
process is to join ENTIFY. Is that the
that's
process?
pretty much it. Yeah, but
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
and
Okay.
and again to go back to Christos as well. The reason ENTIFY is still restricted, we're not opening it up to any old one, because at the very beginning we don't have the full layers of security, and we don't want to, because it's a private network. We can have criminals, would love
Yeah.
this. They
Yeah.
run criminal networks on this, never be found. We cannot have that in the beginning. This must be pure, clean, above board, with the idealism that Christos was talking about. But idealism alone, we've got plenty of ideas. I'm an idealist. You can't believe what an idealist I am. Give me terrible trouble all my life. But now I've got a practical plan. So this is not idealism anymore. But this is an idealism that will support idealists, a practical plan for us. So this will protect us. It will protect us. It's a
Mm.
protection for honest people, no
Mm.
matter what is going on outside in the world. So to all intents and purposes, it make no difference. People just pay you with cash. You can use cash, or pay you with the touch of their phone or a card. It'd be the same difference. But again, down the line, it's still going to take a little bit of time to get to that level where the finance account is fully operational. The level where we have our internal token, that can be quite quick.
Mm.
And yes, Christos, I should also say that has also occurred to me. We start off with a certain amount of tokens. But there is more detail to that. When you buy the phone is an asset. The asset belongs to you outright. It's your first allodial asset when you buy the phone. Because it's your asset, you can tokenize the asset, liquidate it into money. So yes, you will start with some tokens when you get the phone. So even though you're buying the phone for dollars, it translates into tokens inside the network. So really, you've got the phone for free. Again, a long story, but okay, the answer is it's simple.
It's
Just
simple.
imagine what we've got right now. It's all the same.
Mm.
You're just private and invisible
Mm.
in there. It's another app. You're not using Barclays, you're not
Mm.
using Revolut, you're using Entify, banking, communication, identity verification. That's
Okay.
it.
Thank you for that. And Carl, we love you too.
Yeah, I love Cole as well.
Right.
Carl's my
Yeah,
guy.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Good, good. Well, good to hear from you, Gail. I hope, Gail, that you're in the business directory because we've got lots of people in the same type of industry in the business directory. So if you want to join, that'd be fantastic. Let's go to Rosaline Mary.
Hi, Karl.
Hello.
Definitely, you're amazing.
Yeah, I get some. Yeah, that's all good. No, we got an amazing. I'm just going to say, it's the Sovereign Project team in the background that you don't always get to see. They're the amazing ones. They do some amazing work in the background. So, so there we go.
Amazing too. And Toby, it's incredible what you guys are doing. Absolutely awesome. And I'm definitely in. But my quick question is, as you know, Karl, I'm in another group and I am Sovereign, been doing it for nearly 2 years. Do I need to, do I just need to become a Sovereign member to do this? To have,
Yeah,
or
basically, yeah,
your
because we
training?
we can't. We're not going to be really selling this to, should we say, to members of the public. So we are networking with a number of groups out there, and they're like, well, how do we get a piece of this? And I'm saying, well, okay, you need to learn. You need to learn what it is first. So we've got the courses, we do the networking groups, all that sort of stuff. So people are coming to us because of the platforms we now have. There's a lot of groups out there which are doing amazing work. And I am going to say this because I think it's true, and it's up to you what you guys think. You might think something different, but for me, Pete Stone has the greatest knowledge on how the system operates, and because of that, he's attracted some of the most amazing men and women around him. Toby being one of them. Okay.
Yeah, I concur. We went to a big meeting, the meeting of minds, where all the top sovereign groups in several countries came. And to me, that just gave further verification that Pete is number one in the knowledge he has and his understanding of it, the clarity of explaining it.
Yeah.
But that's right. Essentially, we don't release this to the public. It's for the Sovereign Project first, but anyone can join the Sovereign Project. It's again to do with your mind and your heart. You've got the right idea, you join, and we see you've got the right idea. Yes, you can come in, but there'll be different levels in the network. So, you know, you can have a basic level, and a higher level, then you have more say in what happens. A bit lower levels, you have less say in what happens. But we need to have the honesty. Yeah, sorry, Karl, go.
There's a number of groups out there doing the most amazing things, but they haven't quite learned a system yet, and they're leading some of their members down the wrong path, and some of that is going to be mortgage fraud and securities fraud, and they're going to get into a lot of trouble. That's why I've stuck with the Sovereign Project, because I know what we're doing is right, and what we're doing is it's the proper way. So again, it's up to what everyone wants to do, but I'm sticking here, and I know my true path, so I want to do things right. That's why we've taken a little bit longer for our members to get there, because they truly need to learn the system. Not everything, they just need to know of it, and then they're on a stronger path with all the infrastructure we have as well, and the Sovereign Guild, which is not even talked about tonight really, which is a higher level of networking where you want to get to. Then this is where all the magic's going to happen. So and when you're in the guild, then it's a very strong place to be.
And I should just say, it may sound difficult, daunting, all this. You know, it's a lot of learning to do. You know, even I've still got a lot of learning to do, but it doesn't matter if you've got the right heart, the right idea, the right honesty in what you want to do, where you see life. You just sign up with the Sovereign Project, get your name on the business directory, start following, and you're there. You'll be in. You know, don't worry too much. You've got to just register and start learning. Not register, join, and start learning, and we'll all get there. You know, we want this to grow, become as big as possible, but we have to start slowly and carefully and precisely. The founding members of this must be guaranteed. We must be clean at the beginning.
And the middle and the end.
Yes. Well, I'm saying that because towards the end, as it gets bigger, the system itself will wheedle out people. As we're talking, you know, once we got to the millions of people in there, the system itself makes it difficult, harder and harder for any criminals to get in. They get weeded out very fast, kicked out. You can get kicked out. You know, that once you've committed a certain, you know, imagine this, terrible crimes people do, people trafficking, whatnot. If you found any of those in the system, would any of you want them in? No, you're out. We'd want them straight out. So yeah, as it goes on, it will be more powerful. But in the beginning, we haven't got the full system yet. So the only guarantee is we must be guaranteed the people that we allow to join it. You know, and just networking is for the network. The technology, in a way, is secondary. The primary thing is the sovereign knowledge, the sovereign guild, the right people with the right heart and the right mind. That's what makes the network. It's still a living network. It's really us, the living beings. The technology is nothing. And actually, once we got used to it, we're going to forget all about it. We're just lost in technology now. Yeah.
Absolutely. Cool. Right. So it's getting.
Incredible. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
No worries. It's a pleasure. So it's nearly 10 o'clock. There's a few people having to go now, which is understandable. So there's no more. Oh, there are some more questions coming through. So we're going to go to Caroline. Hang on a minute. Is this my friend Caroline? I think it is. Let me just open up the screen. I think it is Caroline. Caroline, take yourself off mute.
Hi there.
Hello, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I've been listening, but I'm involved with the event tomorrow, so I've been sort of preparing for that. So I'm going to have to look at this again with the
Mm.
slides because I've just been listening. But it's really interesting. I think, like with precious metals, that's my business. I'm kind of feeling, yeah, I think with something technology like this, it's good to feel your way.
Mm.
And to get started, just start using it, and then you build confidence, I think, because for me, I think I would, I probably still have questions, but as you use it, you would develop what those questions are,
Mm.
Yes,
so
absolutely. And
I
and
want this to
Caroline,
be
whilst you're on,
simple, very simple. It should be easy and simple.
yeah.
That's my aim. Easier than
Hmm.
anything
cool.
else we've had so far. Easier than a Google phone or an Apple phone. It should be easier, not
Yeah.
harder. Yeah.
Whilst we got Caroline on, Caroline, would you just like to say your company name and share what you do briefly?
I'm Blyer Bullion, and we're a bullion company, and we sell gold coins and bars, and we do also gold pensions, physical gold pensions too.
Ah.
Um,
Yes. Yes.
so I was chatting with Karl and having a look at whether we can get gold backs as well. And
Mm.
Yes.
got a meeting booked next week with somebody to
Woohoo!
source them. So I'm interested to see how this fits in. I was trying to explain to my son why you would have a token that is because we look at value for money when we're talking to people and go, right,
Mhm.
this coin costs you this much, you get this much gold, and the markup on it is this many times or whatever. With gold bats, it's huge.
Mhm.
Mm.
So as for the gold, you wouldn't buy gold bats for the gold
Mm.
that's in them.
No, there's
You
always
would
some
buy
form
them
of
as an instrument.
yeah,
Mm.
there's always some form of currency instrument that's always handy to have when you're doing
Yeah.
exchanging for goods for values. So we met up with Caroline a few days ago. We had a meeting with her. We're looking to bring her in as another gold bullion supplier to the Sovereign project. So again, our muscles are growing, guys. The foundations are growing, guys. The platforms are growing, and we've got more and more resource coming our way, which is fantastic. So Caroline, good to speak to you, and I'll look forward to speaking to you very, very
Yeah.
soon.
Thank you very much.
Great
No
work,
worries.
Caroline. Thank you. Lovely to speak
Thanks.
to you.
You too. Bye.
So again, finding more action takers, which is awesome, fantastic. And there's still 106 people in the room as well. So if you want to come to the Sovereign Project Conference on the 23rd of August, I hope you do. I hope you do, because I'll be able to look into your eyes, shake your hand, give you a hug. I'm a hugger, like a hug, and get to know everyone, which is awesome. And then we've got Jeanette wants to ask a question. So probably going to tell us off for going on too long.
No, not at all. You've
Yeah.
still
Oh,
got 7 minutes.
7 minutes.
Toby, I
Yeah.
want to ask about the token.
Yes.
Um, Sorry, I was so busy in the background. So if I missed it, I apologize if I'm asking the stupid question.
No, no, no.
Would the tokens be held in your private wallet, which you own,
Yeah.
and it's on your phone or desktop based?
Yes.
So how would you hold the tokens?
Yes, that's right. On your phone, or basically connected to your identity. It's very similar to a crypto wallet. It's the same idea. You can access your crypto wallet from your phone or the computer. The data is decentralized, but the access point can be separate. So the access point is the key card or the phone, which also becomes like the key card. So yes, it'd be ever so straightforward. Nobody else can see what you've got. It's totally private. You
Okay.
know, Monero is private, so it'd be like that.
So would
Yeah.
you hide it behind a pin, a password?
Yes. Yes. Well,
Okay.
it's the biometric autograph, maybe.
Okay.
But again, we can have different stages. Yeah, you can have different stages. You might have it on your phone, but say you just want to spend 10 dollars, 10 tokens that you can just do with your phone. But you might say for 100 tokens, I want more verification, just in case. So then for 100 tokens, maybe you have to touch your card to make the transfer. And you
Okay.
might say for 1 million tokens, I won't transfer 1 million tokens without the touch of the card and the autograph.
Can you
You can layer up the security. Yeah.
Okay. Is it security up to me to decide the way I want to do the
Yeah.
security, or is it up to the ENTIFY?
No, that would be up to you. Options would be there to set it all up. Yeah, there should be layers to this.
Okay, second
Um,
question.
I
Second
mean,
question. Can you exchange your ENTIFY tokens for Monero or a Bitcoin?
um, yes. Now, well, okay. The okay, so that is a bit more of a deeper question because we actually have developed two tokens. So the one I was telling you about is inside the network, and in a way that will only work inside the network. So that will never come out. That will not go onto a crypto exchange. You won't have the life hour value token anywhere outside. So in that sense, no, that you can't convert. That lives inside the network. That's part of our closed unit.
Mhm.
But then we've created a bridging token that can. A bridging token could be a crypto token that you could exchange, and that's the equity value token. That one, yes, that one will have a value on a crypto market. That also will fluctuate. We're giving the value based on the mathematics, but remember, the fair price Oracle index is only a recommended value. It's only mathematics. You'll see it. But the token, you can do what you like with it. It will fluctuate on the markets, but you will see what it should be. And that we've never had before. We've never had, a loaf of bread. Let's just say we never had a loaf of bread should only ever be 50 pence. We've never had such a thing. So a loaf of bread could be $10, $5, 10 pence, and we never know. Which is fair, it's free market, but if you know how the value works, it should always be about 50 cents, 50 pence, then people will know and they start realizing, that guy's overcharging or that guy's very cheap. And the market will stabilize. So the bridging token is to stabilize. So the bridging token, equity value token, that one can bridge to the inside. You can convert that to the inside token, but you can also then sell that on the outside markets. Yes, that in time you'll be able to exchange that for Monero, Bitcoin, whatever you want. It will be on the markets. And that's interesting because that would be our direct financial system because we don't need a bank for that. That will be our own crypto token. But we won't call it money. We would call it an utility token. So we don't get involved in financial systems. It's a utility. The utility is value. It's not money. It's not a coin. It's a utility token. So we don't get caught up in the commercial system. But that would be our own banking system, and that would be quite easy because then, yes, anyone outside the network, and again, that's advertising because when we sell the token it's open to buy equity value token. Now people look, what's that? Okay, I'll buy that token. It sounds exciting, and then they're waiting for it to rise. But then they'll learn about the network. Oh, it connects to this token. Maybe I want in. So that again starts us to spread. But
How
now
would
that
you, how would you able to buy your token if you wanted to?
well, the equity token, just like any other crypto, you can buy it with dollars, pounds. There'll be an exchange where you can buy
Where
it.
would you buy it? Centralized or decentralized?
Decentralized, yeah, crypto exchange. We'd build our own exchange to sell it. We'd build our whole own thing. That's
Can
again a
you
little bit down the line.
can you
But the
promote
inter
the
yeah,
exchange?
sorry.
Can you promote the exchange where we can buy it?
Yes, well, we will create it. We'll actually have to create the token ourselves and make the exchange. We'll actually create this. Hugman, my guy in the team, he's already done most of this. So he's already got tokens running. He knows how to do it. But the internal token, this is the main important one that I talked about, life hour value, that is so different from money we've got that it's very difficult to exchange it. But I still have got a calculation to exchange how we can work out the life hour value token. But that is to do with the global average hourly wage. There's a lot of calculations to it where it actually translates into living value. So for the people that invest, I can't say invest, but join in, become the founders of this system, if they want to put some money in, which will become their token in the system, there will be a conversion that we can calculate. So we will know if you put this much money, you would get this much tokens inside. But those tokens, the idea for them is they're only inside. We're building something enclosed, but then we have a bridge for the outside as well. So there's stages to it.
Yeah.
Again, it's a long discussion. It's on the website. The Fair Price Oracle explains it. I've written the book, but but the book hasn't explained that token. That's a token sale. So again, that would be a token offering. That's another stage of this whole project that we can do. If we do a token sale, we raise a lot more money and we can jump to another level. But I haven't even started talking about that. For
No,
now,
that,
just think about the internal system and what we can possibly do. Um, and there's a
thank you.
lot.
Thank you, Toby.
I'm not sure that really answered the question, but yeah,
Yes, yes, it
yeah,
did.
yeah.
Are you going to have your own wallet? I'm sorry, I've been so busy in the background tonight.
Yes, but our wallet is not quite the same as a crypto wallet. It's a reticulum identity wallet. So yes, to all intents and purposes, yes, but we're now using something above and beyond blockchain. So it's a slightly different system, but to all intents and purposes, yes, it's a crypto wallet and a crypto identity. It's not crypto, it's reticulum DAG. So it's something slightly different above and beyond crypto and with greater security and less limitations. But
Nice,
but yes, essentially.
nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not sure if Carl is here, but we've got Joanne.
Hello, a weird question. Can we put our Bitcoin in if we, or
Yes.
crypto? Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah, I forgot to mention that, but yes. One of the first things that Nicholas developed when he developed this card was to make it into a hardware wallet, and in particular a Bitcoin wallet. So yes, I did forget to mention that. We can have anything in there, Bitcoin, any crypto we want, we can build it to set that up. But more interesting than that, we could still have anonymous Bitcoin by the same system, because Bitcoin, of course, connects to your wallet, your address, people can trace you, but you can have Bitcoin going through the limited company. So you could still have Bitcoin vouchers that connect to real Bitcoin, but you remain anonymous, because Bitcoin is not anonymous. It's completely open. There's a lot. But yes, yeah, pretty much whatever's out there, we can have it in a private way. But it's such a big deal to explain every step of this. It's a simple project, but the repercussions are so phenomenal. That's why I've written a book. And please go and buy the book. Check the website. You can see about the book on there. Get the book. That starts to support us building it. You will understand the whole project. You'll see why this works, how big it is, and then you could start seeing what the technology is doing and what we could possibly build from this. It's too phenomenal. But the answer is yes. You can.
Wonderful, Toby. Now,
Yeah.
what I need you to do
Yeah.
is to post the links
Yeah.
in the chat where to buy the book.
Yep. That's the
Or you could
entify.world
buy the book from
website.
the Sovereign Conference.
Yes, I'll be bringing some to the Sovereign Conference. If you want to pay, you can buy them straight now. I've got ebooks, or you can buy print on demand. Or the Sovereign Conference, I'm going to print out a lot. I hope I print out enough. Let's see, and you can buy it then from me there, for cash or gold back notes or gold bars. Or I will have the card payment as well, of course. But all that goes to support the project. So do come to the conference. That's a big deal. And I think this is going to be the biggest, most exciting sovereign conference so far. Yes, so come to that and that will be there. But I'll post a link now to ENTIFY World website. I think I've still got it. Yes, I'll do it right now. So just go and check out the website. That's the easiest thing to do. And you can check out my channel, YouTube channel, ENTIFY World, at ENTIFY World, same name. And you can see me talking about it in different ways.
Is this book the same as you showed me today? Sorry, I
Yes, ENTIFY. It's the
now.
ENTIFY book. Yeah, it's called
Yeah.
ENTIFY,
And
the
if you put a
architecture of trust.
sovereign project,
Ah,
some
yes. You can also buy it through the Sovereign Project, and then you'll get an additional discount. If you put in the code Sovereign, then you'll get a discount code. So you'll get 7% off, and then also kickback also goes to the Sovereign Project. But to me, we're all working together. So all these funds, everything I do in life, I wake up in the morning, everything I'm doing is for this for years and years. And we're all doing that. So we need to keep going, and these are the ways we can do it. But the book is important because it explains it, and if you've had a taste of it now, it just like the Sovereign Project, there's so much to talk about. It does take a bit of work, but it is simple. Once you get through it, it is simple. And it's the same with Sovereign Pete's knowledge. At the beginning, it's daunting. There's a lot to learn, but in the end, it is quite simple. It is just your mind when you realize, hang on, I'm in control of my life. I decide what my name is. I decide what I do. That's it. All you need now is the language and the methodology to get that out in the rest of the world, so that these buggers don't come to your door and annoy you. Can't tell you what to do and lock you up. All this nonsense. Yeah. Anyway.
Totally agree.
Yes.
Karl, your end of the Zoom.
Yes,
No
Karl.
worries, no worries. Well, everyone, thank you so much. Thank you so much for attending. I've loved it tonight. The question's been great. Toby, thank you so much for
Thank
everything
you,
you
Karl.
do,
Really,
which
thank
is
you for having me.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you for Rowena in the background as well, posting some stuff. So Rowena runs our business directory, and thanks to Jeanette for joining as well, which is fantastic. Guys, everyone in the room, this is all about all of us networking together, growing stronger together, and being together. So hopefully we'll see you at the conference. If not, I will see you very, very soon. Big love to you all. And let's go and have some rest now, shall we? And have a peaceful night.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care, everyone. All the best.